cuz police try and treat us and keep us on a leash, cuz that's how they see us, thinking we nuts. Cuz we'll die for the ground beneath us, because this land made us. This land made of players that stay on paper. That's how we came up amongst the mayhem, to the day when we display what we made of. The game could never change us, the West Side teachers. On these streets where you find that D before G. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just gotta been a plot. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Smell the grind in the air, take a whiff. Only the nose knows the aroma. Compose the money rolls that fold up, holding cold cups. Searching for those that got the purple O's for the $4. And we can go nuts and stay at the stove like grocers, and post up with O's on the table like coasters. That's how the game coached us, made us all in the soldiers. Now that dough is the focus, so know that we own this. Molded by the hood role models, riding good, the latest model, drinking good, raising bottles like we just missed a pothole. You got to know that it's impossible to stop our flow. We've seen it all from watching cops reload 30s a dro while drinking the night away until the block got slow. You'll know as soon as you see us, we the ones laid back in the cut. My demeanor seems to always get me up. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just gotta been a plot. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Yeah, home of the survivor, survival of the fittest in the town. It's wicked, you can J down in a minute. What am? What's the business? The biz is how you down and get it. From Cape Town to Fifth City, the sounds of Fifth's empty. When
that's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy, so even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you wonderful people. Welcome to this Monday and a half edition of I Say What I Said. We are live from inside the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Howard. We get together right here each and every weekday, 3 allegedly to 6 p.m. And we discuss issues that are currently impacting the black community, how they impact us as individuals, but also how they impact us as a collective. And along with your immense help, we talk through many of those issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. Again, overcome them as individuals, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of this conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is definitely appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We would kindly request you please take a quick second to share the broadcast. Share it on your personal page. Share it even within your personal network with anyone that you think would add value to this conversation or find value in this conversation, especially on today, because we started a little late. But that's all right, because I was thoroughly enjoying the conversation. We're going to get into that here in just a bit. But again, thank y'all so very, very much for tuning in. Please share the broadcast. This is I Say What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. His name is Two. Little double dipping for you today, huh, my brother?
Yeah, fam. I got in here early. I'm on the bike.
Yeah.
They was talking trash about Hove and Nas.
Yeah.
And I jumped into the conversation because I was bored.
Nah, it was a dope conversation that took off, man. Shout out to the Big, shout out to Gino, shout out to Terrence, man, for doing what they do better than anybody else, man. And it was definitely a good conversation. I saw you hop in it. Maze was in it. Maze love when he get to kick it with the guys, man. You know what I'm saying? When he can kick it with the guys, he can hop on the soil or he can hop on I Said What I Said. He'd be excited about that. You can hear it in his voice. It's a different energy that he gets to talk with that other than 6 a.m. You know what I'm saying? It's a different kind of energy that he gets to present.
We're the cool kids.
We the cool kids.
You know, you get to sit at the cool lunch table every now and then. You feel special.
You feel very, very special. So kudos to y'all for letting him sit with the cool kids today, man. I'm sure he had a good time, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to regulate that more often, though.
Yeah, he gonna go back. He gonna start saying new words. He gonna start dressing a little different.
Yeah, he gonna think he part of the bunch.
He already got like a regular fade now, tapered. He got a real fade. You know what I'm saying? He don't even got his blade. You know what I'm saying? Blade brown going on.
Blade brown.
You know what I'm saying? He got his real fade popping out here, man. But no, that was a dope conversation, man. I'm glad y'all went ahead and chopped it up, man. I'm glad y'all just felt the need to keep letting it flow. It was a natural flow. It was a good conversation, and I certainly wasn't finna interrupt y'all. I was sitting outside. I was sitting outside.
But you really wasn't sitting outside. You was trying to leave the station.
No, I was
trying to leave behind. See, you gonna leave me behind, man. See,
I was sitting outside in the lounge area in the studio. I was outside in the lounge area.
Co-defendant is, man. I'm telling you.
And then once 3:15 came, I was like, I'm just watching y'all, and I'm like, 3:05, 3:10, okay, cool. 3:15 came. I said, you know what? I'm going outside because it's 70 degrees outside. I'm gonna go outside. And I said, okay, cool. So I'm waiting for them to call me. So I go outside. I'm chilling, and
then the spirit
look up.
Me.
Then it's like once I'm outside, now it's a whole different vibe now. Like, cause I can feel the sun and the energy. So I'm like, okay, tell you what, at 3:30, okay,
I'm out of here, Joe.
I'm going to get in my car and I belong to the streets now. Okay, I am for the summertime shy streets at 3:30. So Ron come downstairs right at 3:30, and I say, Ron, they still going? He like, yeah. He like, it sound like they about to wrap it up. I said, but are they still going though? He like, yeah, they still going. Cool, me too. I'm going to. Like, got in my car, start that joint up, go to pull off, and who comes out the door?
So before you go any further,
sure.
Part of the conversation was about consciousness and what's the definitive of consciousness. Well, consciousness by definition just means to be aware, right?
Yeah.
And my spirit is very aware of who you are. You understand me?
You know me.
So right in the midst of the conversation, I said, you know what? I don't want to have this conversation no more.
You can feel it. I was leaving.
I left before the conversation was over. I said, something's not sitting right. Let me go downstairs.
Hop in the mic, man. What you say?
I said, let me go downstairs.
He was mad because I was winning.
He wasn't winning. He was just shouting loud, as he always does. You know.
Hey, did you hear? Let me get some headphones real quick.
So
he was mad because I was winning. Because he heard the dude that called in on the morning show.
Who won?
Look, see, it's what standard is it?
Whose
I just want to know whose standard is it.
There lies the problem.
So I think two. Did you hear the guy that called in on our show about y'all? Mm-hmm. So two was.
Oh no.
Oh, you didn't hear about the guy? So I've been doing this thing about having people call in.
Yeah, I saw y'all doing that this morning.
But last Friday,
he put the radio listeners on notice that their time is running out.
Right. Like, y'all don't call in this month. Y'all finna be off the air. Y'all gonna be looking for the app. But so Friday we did the same thing. And a dude calls in and he like, man, I listen to all the shows. And right after y'all, I listen all day. But then that Herb and Two, man, I told Ryan, and I'm mad that they ain't got the promo running. And he was like, but that Two, he too much for Herb. Herb can't keep up with Two. Look. And I was like, Ron, stop it right there. We need a promo. This must run in their show today. He went on and on. He's like, Herb, now that Two, man, I like that Two. That Two, that boy smart. And he like, that Herb, I don't know if that boy Herb can keep up with him. And we was like, can you turn that into a promo right now?
Whoever dude is, salute to him. I am a genius. That is the truth. But
salute
truth be told, man, if you understand how this game works, it's hard for me to keep up with her. You got it confused.
We did tell him that.
Salute and kudos to my brother. He be in a space I can't get there.
No, Two tap out when it ain't his conversation. When he don't want to talk about it, he just be like,
I do.
Dup, I'm done. and you got to carry the mic. He be like,
he absolutely does.
Yeah, he be like, whoop. And he'll be like, so Two. And, he'd be like, da-da.
That's
our history.
That's the small difference of playing point guard and playing two guard. You get an attitude with two guard, you go sit in the corner.
Exactly.
Sit this whole set out. I'm still sitting here stupid as hell, just bouncing the ball. Like,
you gonna take this pass? No. So
we're very clear on the positions in here.
Two in the corner, not even looking at the ball.
And wait, you ain't seen nothing yet, though, man. You ain't seen nothing yet. I've been on a 3-hour-long show where I didn't say.
Oh, he did.
Nothing.
I heard about the white girl.
He did, yeah.
White
Because if
women.
I'd have said something, we'd end up fighting.
Yeah.
So I had to stop talking. Period.
Yeah, he did that. We was talking to her sister. She said she only exclusively dates white dudes. She'd never talk to another brother again. Two tried to go back and forth with her for about 10 minutes.
After about the first 10 minutes, I was like, you know what?
He shut down on me for 2 hours and 50 minutes. He didn't say a word. I said,
and check this out.
Crazy.
The woman, I don't know if you remember this, but for 3 months after that, the woman
she was on your heels.
found my Facebook page and would make disparaging remarks about me on my Facebook page. I don't think she had nothing to do with that day because she would do it like all day.
She was on your heels,
It got
boy.
to the point where I was finna call some of my girl cousins to go find her. Like, you got to go do something. Because I'm trying to be politically correct. I don't want to call
Right.
out a
You
name. I
all
don't want to be disrespectful. Yeah, I don't want to go all the way there.
Right.
So I'm just letting it roll. I'm letting it roll. And
was
after a
on
while,
your
my
heels,
cousins,
boy.
my real cousins, was like, "Dude, who is that?" I'm like, "Man, y'all need to go find her."
Hey, can I tell you, I had an experience like that, and it happened on Chris the Critic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I heard.
And on that note, I'm gonna tap out. I won, though. I won.
Not really, though. Not really.
Hey, I like your fade,
What's the
man.
standard of the win, though?
I like your fade, man. I'm glad you got to hang out with the cool kids today, man.
Hey, man, it was cool being with the young
Cool kids.
whippersnappers.
Say how you wanna
The
say it.
young, the
Say how
young,
you
the
wanna
young
say it.
rascals.
They let you
The
sit
young
over at the cool lunch
rascals,
table
the
today.
rascals, the little rat. No, I felt like the principal to be coming in and sat down at the table with the balding head, and you get to sit down with everybody and be like, "So, fellas,
Relive my
back in the
youth."
day when I used to walk to school 3 miles both ways."
Uphill both ways.
I felt no, but honestly, it was good because I felt like Hove. That's something I could talk about right there. Hove. And by the way,
You held it down in the whole conversation because
But
they
just-
be trying to disrespect Hov.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought too was my kindred spirit on Hove.
I like Hov.
Right?
As a lyricist.
I thought he was when I heard him talk about reasonable doubt, I was like, see, we kismet. Then he get
I didn't let
around
him do no
Gino
Reasonable
and
Doubt
peer
hate.
pressure, and then next thing you know, he done peer pressure.
You gotta go over.
You caved in the peer pressure
He
too?
gotta make it something more than what it really
He
is.
peer pressured, and then he threw our boy under the bus.
Every time.
Hov, man.
Give him an inch, you take him out.
Hov.
Give
I
me a
didn't
string
let
on
him
be a
put
cowboy.
out any reasonable doubt. Any reasonable doubt slander, because reasonable doubt is a classic album. It's one of
They
two
think they
classic
get
albums in
cowboy.
all of hip hop. There's only 2 real classic albums in all of hip hop, in my opinion. There's Reasonable Doubt and Souls of Mischief 93 Till Infinity. Both of them records all the way through front to back. You can pay both every song.
I
I like
like
to go check that one out. I like the 93 to Infinity. I ain't listened to the rest of it.
Whole album dope.
I like how Terrence be when they get on the fringe of his time versus like y'all time. He be like, man, how young y'all think I am, bro? I ain't that motherfucking young. And so Gino like, man, if you wasn't driving when this dropped in 92, fam, you
He
too
was
young.
like, I was driving.
He like,
a
I was
Tonka
driving
truck.
my little.
I had a Tonka truck, a big wheel.
y'all gotta fall back off T. He ain't that young, man.
Hey man, that was a great conversation, and I'm gonna say that is why we got to do some more mashups because that was good stuff.
Yeah. Nah,
All right, y'all. Hey man, I appreciate y'all though.
All right,
Peace
Beast
out.
Boy, when you gonna have us on the Maze Jackson show?
We ain't
y'all
boosting
think
his
y'all
ratings like that, G. We not doing that.
No, because two don't want
They
to get up
already
there.
calling us. They're the greatest show on the network.
You know what?
What?
They scared. Y'all get stage fright.
I
They'll
got-
be like, wait a minute.
I got-
all them numbers. Because I'm going to flick to the other page on you.
I got text messages on my phone right now, like, so y'all doing y'all show, or I gotta keep listening to the Maze all day?
I'm out.
No, that's dope, man. I'm glad y'all sat down and did that. That was definitely a dope conversation, and I certainly was not. BT say T-Top young as fuck. It's your brother. You can say whatever you want. I definitely wasn't tripping, man. I was just. Ron to tell you, I was on my way out. I was gone, Jack.
Hey, I'm glad I caught you, bro, because we both would have been out.
We both would have been out. And I wasn't tripping. I'm like, man, listen, I'm finna get out here in these Chi-Town summertime Chi streets, man. It's like 70 degrees outside.
Man, this
I
nice
am
weather-
outside.
This nice weather is infectious, bro. Like,
Pull
I'm
up on somebody's rooftop or something.
I'm on
I'm
the bike.
outside.
I'm on the bike and it's feeling good. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, people is outside. It's hot. Chicago in the summer is the best place in America.
It's incomparable.
Hands down, best place in America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you get a little taste of that. It's like a dope thing. You can't stop. You
Yeah.
all the way in immediately.
Gee, it's quick. It's quick. Like I don't even know what I thought was gonna happen when I went downstairs. Like, I'm just gonna go outside, get a little bit of air. 15 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, this air feels amazing. I'm gonna get this air while I'm in my car, and I'm gonna let the windows down, and you know what I'm saying. I'm finna ride. We rolling now. It's cracking.
It can go either way, man. It can go either way.
Yeah, I had my plan of action put in. I was just figuring out who was gonna come outside and play with me. I'm like, who can I call to come outside and play with me right now? Because I'm definitely finna go outside and play. Fam.
Oh, you don't got to call nobody. At this point, you mean new friends. Because they're already outside playing.
Yeah, I'm gonna see somebody because somebody outside playing.
Yeah, I like the new people.
The new people.
Yeah, the new people.
You can't really meet new people these days, man.
I can.
You know, everything is so socially distant, and just like. But
ain't nobody honoring that. Did you see them spring break pictures down in Miami?
No, but I could imagine.
Oh, they were so disrespectful. They was arresting people. There were so many people. It was too close. Ain't nobody honoring that. Nobody.
I could imagine how crazy it was, man. But yeah, summertime shy is unlike anything else that I've ever experienced in any other place, right? And people talk about how dope summertime is here or there, but they always reference places that have perpetual summer. You can't there's no way. There's no way. You live in Houston. There's no way your summer is busting like you live in Atlanta, Miami. There's no way. It's been 80 degrees, fam. Ain't nobody excited about this shit.
Yeah, these is bears out of hibernation.
You know what I'm saying? The seemed like the population double in Chicago when the weather changed. And they ain't talking about tourists. These are the natives coming outside.
Well, we don't get tourists on the south side anyway.
That's true.
Well, that's a new thing. We get tourists in Hyde Park. That's
true.
And they got
downtown Hyde
tourists
Park.
too. Downtown Hyde Park.
DTHP.
Right. We got to give some credit to the
put some respect on downtown
put some
Hyde
respect
Park's
on
name.
gentrification. You know
Fuck out of here.
Downtown Hyde Park. Hey man, my family. Well, it's still my family, but my wife's family, which is my family.
Yes, it is.
I just want to be clear which side of the family.
Okay, cool.
No misunderstanding here.
No.
Just get it clear, right? So we had a family reunion here.
No Warner Blakey smut.
None of that happened, right? Because we're loyal to the soil. But everybody else though, right? So we have this family reunion here. Now you got to understand that my wife isn't from Chicago. Her family is from all over the South type of deal, right? So let's say 4 years prior or 2 years prior to the family reunion we have here, we're discussing the family reunion that we're going to have here at another family reunion in Back Alley, Alabama somewhere.
Okay,
right?
Back Alley, Alabama.
It was definitely Back Alley, Alabama. One truck stop, Alabama. Bugs that I couldn't identify was there. You understand? That kind of energy, right?
One stoplight town?
Yeah, one stoplight for sure, right? So we talk in that trip. I'm digressing. But in that trip, at the gas stations in Back Alley, Alabama, they sell dirt as candy. It blew my mind. This is legitimately street dirt that they eat like candy. I tried it because I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable.
When in Rome?
When in Rome, do as the Romans. But that threw me. That just came to my mind. But either way, we having this Back Alley, Alabama.
Was it good? No, let's not skip over
No,
it.
it was horrid. But my point is,
it tastes like dirt or what?
White
Like, what
folks was eating it. You know what I'm saying? They got different taste buds though. I don't know. They not used to season, so you know what I mean? It's the whole thing.
Is this like black dirt? Is it red dirt?
No, they dye it white.
Oh.
Ain't that amazing?
Of course. Of course.
I didn't even think about that.
Now we're getting
you fully understand white supremacy.
Right. Everything else you understand.
Well, let me
Only
confuse you. But yeah, they sell dirt. They make money off of it. It was unbelievable. But
I can dig it.
so we discussing the family reunion in Chicago, and everybody's like, man, I don't want to come to Chicago. Chicago, I can get killed. So that's one strike. I'm getting irritated with that conversation.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Hello, we're here, alive, breathing.
So when they do finally come, my sister-in-law, who's Miss Grey Poupon herself,
Okay.
right, puts together Chicago tour. I call her that in real life, so
I
it's
know.
not even offensive.
I know you do.
You know what I mean? She puts together a tour of the South Side, like one of these like bus tours. Like everybody's on the bus and they going through this tour, and we're going through Brownsville and Hyde Park. Mm-hmm. And the way the tour guide describes like what I know to be historically black events was just amazing to me. Like, it really has become downtown Hyde Park. It's not our neighborhood anymore.
Oh, nah. DTHP is a different thing. Once they changed the name, it was a different thing.
It's a whole different thing, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a different thing.
Once you turn the corner right there on 53rd and Lake Park, and there's Starbucks right next door to Chipotle, that ain't your spot no more, fam.
Yes, it's different.
That ain't your joint.
Correcting the bus driver, like, nah, that ain't true. Nah, that ain't real. That's not how that works.
Nope.
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 Yeah, you need a tour guide for the tour guide.
DTHP, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you go over, you get up in Harper Court and hang out at Ja Grill. It's black, Salim speaks on the only other place that I've heard to rival summertime shot. It's New York, it's Harlem, it's Brooklyn in the summertime. I've been Harlem, Brooklyn in the summertime.
Me too.
Bussin'.
But their energy is different.
Very much
anyway,
enjoyed it.
Their energy is very different. You know
Right.
what I mean? So when I think of New York, I think of New York is 47th Street in the 80s.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Say more.
It just has that whole, and let me not say that because New York is gentrifying rapidly too, and it's changing.
125th is it still has some semblance of what it used to
Bill
be.
Clinton has a house in Harlem. 125th ain't the same.
No. I'm saying you walk down the street, they still have all of the street vendors out there. There's people still selling jewelry and incense and
for about 2 more weeks, and then it's a wrap. You got about 2 weeks to live.
You can still bump into New York rappers. You know, that type of vibe is still available out there, and I definitely enjoyed the time that I spent in Harlem and Brooklyn in the summertime. That being said, the Chi is just a different
animal, man.
thing, and I think it may have something to do with the fact that how you talk about there's all this blending of culture in New York. And summertime Chi, if you want it to be all black,
It's straight Alabama.
it's all
Negro,
black, fam.
man.
You know what I'm saying? So even if you want to find out, okay, what a black rooftop day parties at, okay, you can hit that. It's going to be black. Music going to be black. Then you want to okay, I don't really want to go to another spot, but I ain't ready to go in yet. What part we going to hit? Okay, we're going to go out west. We're going to hit in the circle. We're going to go to Washington Park. We're going to Jackson Park. We're going to go up to Hayes. What we going to do?
And Chicago's a city of parks. So
Yeah.
it's different. It's a different kind of festival energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
New York isn't a city of parks like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you might get the street fairs, but that doesn't necessarily compare to, let's say, a house picnic.
Nah, it's not the
You
same.
know, it's just a
It's
different
not the
kind of
same.
energy.
They do have Afro Punk in Brooklyn, and
They
that
do.
joint
They
is.
do. And I haven't been, but I've seen the pictures and I want to go.
You do want
You
to
know
go.
what I mean? I do.
You do want to go. Yes.
For different reasons than why you want to go, but I want to go.
You want to go, fam.
It's okay.
You want to go. Go. Yeah, no. Shout out to Brooklyn and Harlem specifically. I ain't never been to like Queens for real. You know what I'm saying?
It's the comparison would be like how we separate our neighborhoods. Like how we separate our neighborhoods is different. Let me not say how we separate our neighborhoods. Let's say how we separate per 100, right? Like there's a different energy in all of the hundreds than it is.
Yeah,
in, let's
for
say,
sure.
The low end.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So, but if you break down the hundreds by neighborhood, it's kind of similar.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
I feel you.
It's that kind of energy.
All right. No, I dig it. I can dig it. New York is New York. I rock with it.
Man, it's cool.
Summertime Shadow. Looking forward to it. I'm going to be cutting up, fam.
Yeah. But ain't nothing like Chicago in general. So me and you was having a brief conversation outside, and I'm not gonna go into super detail.
Mm-hmm.
But I was invited to this conversation about, how can I word this? City revitalization.
Is that what we call it? Reform.
City revitalization.
Slow train coming is what
slow
it's
train's
what Brother
coming.
Muzone said in the White.
Right.
Slow train
Slow
coming.
trains coming. You did. But in that conversation, man, we just got to talking about conceptually, like how to push forward this concept of introducing what's coming to the city in a way that kind of anchors in the construct of Black Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And these people that was on the phone call were, from a very diverse background.
Sure.
And I mean very diverse.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Other countries and stuff. And I brought into the fold the concept of Chicago being Mecca, right? Black Mecca. And they didn't understand that.
Silence.
And contextually, I was like, no, what you don't grasp is like Chicago is the Mecca of all things Black in America.
And all things in America are black.
Period. But all things Black in America. And they was like, yeah, but what about the Harlem Renaissance? And I was like, well, even when you start to dig deeper into the Harlem Renaissance, the large swath of those people who kind of was leaders in that construct were like Chicago natives. They might have went to New York and got it cracking, but it was a Chicago construct. You know what I mean? Even the Harlem Globetrotters, like they're named the Harlem Globetrotters. That started on 51st Street.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Well, no, on 39th Street.
I didn't know that.
On 39th Street.
Okay.
Those are all unique to Chicago, but even Chicagoans don't know how
I didn't
deep
know
our
that.
history really is, specifically in regards to like Black America.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought forth that idea as a concept. Like we need to start anchoring ourselves in and the understanding that this is the Mecca of Black existence.
Interesting that is both of those things can be true, right? This is the Mecca of Black existence, and then also get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey man,
like so it's interesting that you're having, and I commend you one for bringing that topic to that particular conversation. But it's very, very interesting to have that conversation inside of a conversation about reform, gentrification, revitalization, if you will. Right?
but to the conversation I was just having earlier with Maze, and it went sideways because it started off about Nas and Hov, but then it turned into an understanding of Black business. And because we're kind of a powerless sect, we have to find our way into these conversations strategically and find anchor points to keep our identity on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it won't, because we don't have any power.
Mm-hmm.
So when I even hear us talk about how, Black people do business, it's always a fallacy to me, because when I'm in them rooms, I'm fully aware that you are powerless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So everything has to be strategic. One of the parts of the conversation we got into, and T and Maze agreed about how Dame Dash kind of rubs people the wrong way with his behavior set. And I said in my opinion, that's a response to the construct of white racism. Because when we look at white businessmen who act in that same manner,
Shrewd as they want to be.
Shrewd is a powerful or asset to have.
He's a shrewd businessman.
We don't see it any other
calculated.
Right, he's calculated. He's shrewd.
Even if they use terms that everybody associates with some type of negative connotation or negative, like he's a shark. You know what I mean? Like we talking about like killer sharks. You know what I mean? Like, but like it's okay for them. For us,
yeah, we got to walk the line of being acceptable.
Yeah. Although Dame makes it a little easy.
I love Dame. I don't care what nobody says.
I love Dame too, but he makes it easy. When you walk in the Def Jam, slamming they shit around, cursing everybody out in the boardroom, make it a little easy.
I respect it.
I didn't say I don't respect it. I'm saying you make it easy for people to talk that shit.
But it's a matter of perspective, though, right? It's the same. It's the energy between me and you. It's how people respond to me and you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, he's an asshole.
Right.
You know, and depending on how well you know us, you might think very differently about that subject.
Right.
You know?
Right. You may come to find out.
You might think completely opposite of that.
He's definitely the asshole.
He's definitely an asshole.
He's definitely the asshole. No, you're right. There is that dynamic. There's what meets the eye, and then there's the action. Right. You know? And so, hey, but there's value in both, right? There's value in people coming up.
It's a game.
There's value in people coming up to us and be like, yo, don't play with them like that because his ass is fucking crazy. Dude, cool though. Dude is wild as hell. Okay, you don't know dude like that. Okay, but I appreciate that the way that works. You know what I mean?
Perception is amazing, man.
It is. It
really is.
And it can become reality.
I remember this girl I went to college with ran up on me one day, and she was asking about my friends, right? And I was like, yeah, Carrie's married. D is this, that, and the third. We just going down, history. And she was like, yeah, Carrie seems like the marrying type. I could imagine him being married, right? Okay, cool. I'm with that.
Cool.
The woman sitting there talking to me never asked me at all, was I married or involved in none of that.
Because you are marriage material, too, son.
I've been married for 85 years by this time, you know what I'm saying? But I'm waiting on her to ask me. She never asked me. It was based on that point, like, yeah, of course you're not
never
married.
dawned on her.
It never dawned on you that, but it's perspective. You don't even know me, shorty. You don't know me. But it's just interesting to hear other people's perspective of you.
It's a real thing. People be thinking I don't know. It's just interesting. And I don't really care to, set them straight. If you want to talk to me, we can talk. But other than that, I don't, whatever.
There's power in that, though. I leverage it.
Yeah.
Whoever you think I am, if it benefits me, that's what I'm going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. My homegirl, Taylor, shout out to Taylor from Taylor's Tacos. It's her birthday yesterday.
Shout out to Taylor's Tacos.
And so she had a little situation, and I walk in, one young lady was like, yo, I know you. And I was like, cool. I was like, my name Herb. What's your name? Said what her name was, whatever. She's like, no. I know you from, I don't know, something. She was like, I was like, okay. And then she goes on to tell me where she knew me from, something I had hosted, right? And I was like, okay, I remember that day. She's like, you remember we had this conversation? And yeah, I was like, no, I don't necessarily remember that, but good to see you again, whatever. So she goes on about like who I am, right? Not just like that she see me or like what I do, but like who I am. And I'm like, that's interesting. Let her talk. And this is, I don't want to exaggerate. She goes for like 3 minutes, right? About who I am. And I'm just listening to her. Okay, cool. None of that shit is true, man. like none of it. Like none of it. She told me where I went to school at. She told me who I used to date. Like how I behave. I'm like, sweetheart, none of that is true. I don't know what you're talking about. But
that speaks to the power of these microphones too, though. Right, and perception and how it works, and even the conversation we were just having about Nas and Jay, and how who people assume him to be versus who he quite possibly could be. And it's very different. right? And you, the kind of guy that you are, like, you play into shit. Like, Herb's a shit starter. He loves to start shit.
Yeah, I'm with it.
And I've been in conversation. I've been sitting right next to Herb, right? And somebody would call him and has some shit to say about me. He'd be like, yeah, you know how he is. You know. He's exactly like that. All the while laughing and shit. Yeah, but you play into the energy, though. But it still speaks to, like, how these microphones work and just how visibility works in general, man.
Salim playing games right now, man.
Right. Then what did you do afterwards? I get it. But in essence, though, that's true. You don't know people. You don't know how they move and what they think and what their ideologies are. You just don't know what their philosophies are. You don't know.
It's interesting. I just interesting to see what conclusions that people would draw if you would just give them the space to draw their own conclusions. Like, that's what you came up with?
In a very similar situation, man. I remember I was buying some J's one time. Mm-hmm. One of my frat brothers walks into the shoe store. A frat brother that I don't even really rock with, too. So we don't even got no real relationship.
Right.
And he's with a woman. Cute woman, too. Very cute. Very pretty. You know, and I dapped him up, said what up, and I kind of was keeping it pushing. I was like, man. And she went on about her business, like shopping for it. I was like, man, she a cutie, man. What's up with her? Who was that? He said who it was or whatever. You know, I'm messing with it like that, whatever. I ain't think nothing else of it.
Right.
That was back on me. I was like, man, you don't know her? I was like, no, I don't know her. He was like, man, she said she can't stand you. In my head to God, brother, I couldn't identify this woman on the street if I ever saw her. Mm-hmm. But she already had built the understanding of who I was via somebody else. She had a relationship with somebody else I knew, apparently. Mm-hmm. And it made up an opinion of who I was. I always thought that was funny, man.
Yeah, that's funny. Steve say, happy Fife Dog Remembrance Day. Shout out to Fife. Is it his birthday or is it the anniversary of his death?
Be the day he passed away.
I'm much more of a birthday than a death day person, man. But I get it. I certainly would be all Nipsey'd out come March 31st. So I get it. Shout out to Fife for sure.
Yeah, Nip is a Leo though, so that's his birthday would be August. I think it was late August.
Yeah. His birthday is. Yeah, I want to say like the 28th or something like that. That could be wrong. Ron, when is Nip birthday? But he died on the 31st for sure.
March?
Yeah.
Man, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I remember exactly what I was doing, man.
Steve said death day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So we got into an interesting conversation
August
earlier.
15th.
August 15th.
Okay, not
See,
close.
All the guys is born in August. It's true.
Aramis.
All the greatest,
God will rise.
all the greatest black people in
Ascadon.
America has been pretty much born in August.
I can dig it.
In that conversation, man, we got into this kind of cultural question. Like, what does it mean to be black? Like, what is the standard of being black? Mm-hmm. And you sent me this video earlier, and I really didn't want to get into it today. I thought it was more of a Friday.
I thought it was more of a Friday thing too, but
I've been hip to her for a long time. The sister's a dope sister. I've been hip to her for a long time.
she is dope.
And I always wanted to bring forth, and it's just Two's laziness. Like, I always wanted to find certain clips to have of that play, but I just never took the time out to find the clips. And when you found that one, or when you sent me that, I was like, man, that's a conversation we need to have today. And it's a conversation we need to have in general because, you know, I was talking to Maze and them about the stimulus package that just came out. And there's a set-aside for $30 billion for Native Americans in that set-aside, that $1.9 trillion. And that's just that specific set-aside, right? And it's based in them lobbying to get specific set-asides. You know what I mean? And the reason we don't get those specific set-asides because we've not defined who the hell we are.
Right.
It's really that simple.
It's that's the first step.
Yep. It's really that simple. So, and I know this conversation with the sister Shahrazad Ali might seem like a stretch, but it's really not. It's still back to defining us. And we've not done that, you know. So I'm glad Ron decided to come back. I was wasting time because I thought he was going away doing his manager man thing when he just decides to leave when he feels like it.
Hey, Ron bounced up out of here today. I saw Ron because I was up early.
Done. That boy got a whole new mouth in there.
Let me see if we can get Ron on camera in here for a second because I was up early this morning, so I was watching the Maze Jackson show and I saw Ron working, and then the rest of the day I'm hearing Maze on the board for everybody's show. And I'm like, man, Lil Ron just bounced. Like, he out of here on his whole manager man shit.
That's business to take care of.
We know, boss.
Had to go get them teeth polished.
I was almost under the Herb Act.
What act is that?
I did not want to come back, man.
I don't be not coming. I was just gonna leave. I was just going to leave because clearly the Bigs and my co-host and your father had this thing, running smooth. It was a dope conversation. I was gonna keep it on and whip through the city.
Nah, that ain't how we rocking though, bro.
I was just gonna whip through the city, man. Like, hey, it's because it's gonna be raining tomorrow. It's gonna be cool, like 50s, 40s. I'm like, let me get this 170-degree day in there.
If you leaving, I'm leaving. Please believe it.
We out.
Please believe it.
But nah, it's all good, man. Definitely missed y'all over the weekend, but Ron came back in while y'all was in there. I'm sitting outside. Ron come back in the studio, right? And so I'm like, bro, where you been at? He like, I had to, go do this and that and the third. I'm like, okay, cool. I said, well, then he say, what is you doing out here? I said, what you mean? He said, it's after 3 o'clock. I said, I know, boss. Like, they haven't stopped talking yet. If you're not here, nobody can make the trains run on time. Make sure things are going smooth. I said, you need to go talk to your daddy. Tell him to come on by the here. Ryan went into the production studio, he said.
They don't care.
We don't. Nobody does. You're right.
Nobody cares.
Nobody. I never even saw you.
I said, Ron, you got to go in there and go off. Don't go tap your watch, man. Go in there and go off, fam. You the boss around here,
Nobody
fam.
cares.
You got to go in there, hit your pose on them, and just let them know that it's time. You know what I'm saying? Folks is waiting on the champs to get started, man. What you doing out here, Ron?
Yeah, we can't depend on Ron to make anything move around here.
Nah, man, it was a dope conversation, man. I would have came in here and chopped it up with y'all, but y'all was already rolling. I was just like, okay, well, maybe.
Man, you might as well. It wasn't no camera on me and then I ain't had no headphones on.
No, I saw you.
I just walked in.
Oh, yeah, I know. I walked in the production studio and saw y'all for a second. And I walked back out. And I was like, looks pretty sunny outside.
I could definitely escape.
Definitely said, like, let me go downstairs for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, man. Then that minute turned into 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, it's 3:30. I'm in the whip, fam. And I don't know how this fool. I'm literally pulling off. Like, I ain't even parked no more.
I know. I looked out the window and I see you in the middle of the street.
Yeah, because I was leaving. And he opened the door like, where you going? I'm like, oh, fuck. Called me in the driveway. I was almost out of this joint. But it's all good. Always happy to be here with y'all, man. Hope y'all feeling good, too, on this here Monday. If you are in the shy, please get outside. Open the door at least. Crack a window. Open up the curtains. Open up the blinds. Let that sun come on in. And enjoy yourself. Let me pin that up, matter of fact, Salim, because I definitely wanted to announce that today because I saw you announce it on the Mace Jackson show. Yeah, hope y'all doing well out there, man. If you're in the shy, open the window, man. Open the door, get some fresh air through there. Open the front door, or maybe open the window or back door, get you a cross breeze coming through the crib, get some of that old winter air out the crib, get you some new fresh air flowing through the crib, man. I got a couple hours or so where it still should be decent. Some fresh air flowing through the crib, man. It'll change your life. It really, really would. Or get outside, take a walk around the block, do something. You know what I'm saying? Salim has a dope conversation that's going to be on Wednesday, and I'll remind y'all about it tomorrow as well. But this Wednesday at 11 o'clock, Salim will be chopping it up with Evanston Alder sister, Robin Rue Simmons. She's responsible for the city's path-breaking reparations bill, along with Incobra's Cam Howard. So Cam will be here. We'll be talking to Cam, and he will be talking to Robin Rue Simmons, two people that I find to be very, very impressive. I know Cam, reasonably well, just from all the work he's done, and have had many conversations with him, like Cam a lot. I don't necessarily agree. We're not perfectly aligned on this reparations conversation, but I love Cam. He's a dope brother, and he's been in this fight for reparations as long as anybody else I know. And then obviously Robin Rue Simmons with the groundbreaking plan that she spearheaded out in Evanston. So looking forward to that conversation right here Wednesday, 11 o'clock on Milwaukee Hills World. Make sure that y'all check that out. But don't just check it out. Tell everybody so they can pull up and find out about this reparations conversation and what it looks like for the very first city in the country that has actually come up with a reparations plan that they've begun to put into action. So definitely make sure y'all tune in Wednesday for that dope conversation. And I'm glad that Salim is leading it too, man, because his perspective is going to be valuable on both sides of that conversation. I don't even know if there's opposing sides of the conversation in totality in that conversation. What you're talking about with Cam, and Cam takes a more diasporic approach to reparations, and then I don't know that Alderwoman Simmons has taken a side on as far as that goes in terms of ADOS or not, but whatever. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah,
super dope.
Conversation
11 a.m.
man.
on Wednesday.
Celine speaks over a lot of people's heads, though. Sometimes I wish he would just be more direct and interject his perspective in the conversation. He's a real journalist, so he actually gives people time to talk. We don't really do that shit. Once we disagree, it's pretty much, hey, what are you talking about that
Shut
Super
up.
Bowl? Shut up.
Shut your ass up. Shut up, chump.
Shut up, chump.
Cocksucker beat it.
We disagree. Your voice is no longer valid.
Right. That'll be all.
That'll be all.
That will be all.
No, that's dope, though.
Nah, Salim is fire, man. I remember the first time Salim invited me on his show. And you know how I do broadcasts. I ain't shit in here. I don't got a pen or
Free flow it.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I got a general idea of a slight outline in my head for how I want this thing to go, but we're just going. Salim sits down and gives a flawless 30-minute dissertation, okay, that he's got all written out. It's all outlined. It got highlights on it. It's page by page that he then wrote this out. First 30 minutes of his matter of fact, I might be lying about the first 30 minutes. It might be an hour. He might take the whole first hour of his 3-hour show and just lay it all out there. And then he open the phone lines and have his callers and all that. But Salim is a different breed. I'm sitting there like, wait, he's just, wow. I need to do more prep.
Yeah, man. One day when we grow up, we might do the same.
Yeah, I need to do more prep, fam. I feel stupid now. Salim already got a way of making you feel stupid anyway. It ain't his fault, but he's just like, damn, I don't feel as smart as I felt 10 minutes ago. I don't feel as smart as I felt 10 minutes ago. But nah, it was definitely a dope experience to watch him do his thing up close in person like that. Y'all was talking about Illinois. We all talked a little bit about the tournament or whatever. Well, I don't know if he was in on that part of the conversation, but the Bigs was definitely touching on that. Illinois got their ass smacked, okay? Loyola and Sister Jean and all the prayers and everything, they said, listen here, Mr. Io, Mr. Coburn, we don't give a shit. What are you saying to me, bro? I'm so very confused. I'm sorry.
Take me off the camera.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, they didn't care. Loyola didn't care nothing about that. Mosier Porter, okay, outcoached Illinois like masterfully. And Gino was raising the point about Io not being assertive and aggressive enough, and I agree with that assessment. I think that at some point, Io needed to be like, listen, if we going home because I'm putting this joint up 40 times. Like, we not finna go home with me only shooting the ball handful of times. Like, nah, I'm putting this thing up. And if I miss, I miss. Whatever. I thought at some point he should have just been like, let me take over the game. And I know they were trying to take him out of the game. And I know he was trying to make the right play. And I understand that first half, trying to get other guys going, trying to take what the defense is giving you. But once you realize that Loyola's plan is working very, very well, if you're the best player on the court, it's something you just got to be like, fuck it. I'm taking this thing over. We gone.
Is he the best player on the court then?
I think he is. Now, whether or not you show it, then that's a question, right? What you say, the person who can read and the person who don't read, the person who can't read and the person who don't read. Same person, right? So, yeah, maybe he is the best player on the court, but if he ain't performing that way, then nah, he ain't. You know what I mean? So I get you on that piece. I was a little disappointed. I wanted him to be like, yo, if we going down, I'm emptying my clip. Okay.
I Eric's been working out with his AAU team, so I didn't watch the game. But there was a couple cats there that had like playing the last 4 minutes of it playing on their phones. So I still didn't see it, but we were getting like score updates or whatever. And out of that arose a whole nother conversation just about us sitting there watching our kids hoop. And because it's not organic, right? The next crop of ball players, they're really not organic ball players. And I mean that in the sense like they've built their skill set in organized settings, right? Ain't too much on the playground, ain't too much, going out in the neighborhood and having to beg for next. Ain't too much of playing with the older cats. Right. Whereas if you take a dumbass shot, you'll never play again for a whole nother 2 summers. Right. Ain't none of that happening. You know what I mean? Right. So you always pretty much allocated a space on the floor. If you don't show up on the floor, you still allocated a space in the next 5. Right, and it kind of breeds, even if, how they talk about today's NBA as a skill set player, you're right, it is. Because ain't no dog in none of these cats. Right? Because they've not been built in that environment. Nah. You know what I mean? Nah. And I was just sitting there watching them. They was, they went through all their skill training stuff, and then they went to play 5-on-5. And it was the most boring, uneventful game of 5-on-5 that I've ever watched in my life. And I'm just thinking from the standpoint, skill-wise, they still young. They're 14, 15. But you got a couple cats out there get up and down and dunk or whatever. But still, like, just the energy itself was like, I wouldn't even want to be in this game.
Y'all not hoopers, bro.
Y'all not hoopers, G.
Like,
y'all
basketball players.
Y'all basketball players, right? And there's a difference. And I think, and this goes specifically to Chicago, though. Part of the culture here, because of the violence and because of the way we kind of adhere to media's perception of what's going on in our neighborhoods, we don't allow our children that space. So there are dogs here, right? But those dogs live in probably from, I don't know, let's say 67 South. And anything north of that is kind of different, right? But from 67 South, those people don't usually come from the financial means to get involved in those kind of AU situations. So those guys ain't getting the same opportunities. But that's where the dog lives because they're still outside a little bit.
Getting busy.
They're getting busy outside, you know what I mean? But I just thought it was very interesting, and I think Io, and I think most of the cats in the Chicago basketball circuit are bred from that energy. Like, I used to push back on Io with Gene a lot. Like, I think Io is trash. And I've been saying that since they was parading him in high school. Every time I saw dude, I was like, dude's a bum. He's overrated. He's not really what y'all think he is, Now, since he's been playing this last year at Illinois, I've seen him a lot more than I saw him in high school, and I see glimpses like, oh, okay, I see it. But it still goes back to the same thing. It's like these glimpses. There's a skill level.
If he's in the system that can, take advantage of his skill set, then he'll show up well.
It's a good look.
And Gino made that point about how he projects into the league too. G was saying that if he goes to a team that is into player development and into putting the right piece in the right place, then he can flourish and do well there and have himself a good NBA career. A place like the San Antonio Spurs, if he was to take over a spot after DeMar DeRozan is gone, something like that. But Gino was saying that if he goes into a situation where he is called upon to be the guy,
he won't be in the league.
That's probably not going to be conducive to where he's at.
Yeah, that's real. But again,
and I like the guy. I like the guys who play like that. And so even last year at Whitney Young, they had DJ Stewart, who's now at Duke, and they had another kid named Tyler Beard, who had signed to Georgetown. I think he went to, Gino told me he went to prep school or something first.
Yeah.
Tyler Beard is a dog.
See, I don't want you to confuse the two because I made the same analogy. DJ is also a dog, but it's a different kind of thing.
DJ's a cat.
No, DJ's a dog.
DJ's a cat.
DJ's a dog.
I would say that about them two all the time.
And he's way better than Tyler.
I agree with you.
Like, way better, but he's a dog. But here's the difference.
Kevin Durant is better than Russell Westbrook, too. But Westbrook is a dog. KD is a cat.
No, but I think DJ's a dog, too. I think here's the difference, though. Because DJ's skill set is so much higher than everybody he's playing with, right? He has this kind of energy that he turns it on when he wants to turn it on.
Yeah.
Right? Where everybody else, if you don't have that kind of a skill set, you got to come out the gate fighting like that. But I've seen DJ in games where, specifically Simeon, right? And Morgan Park, because they got that kind of rivalry going where that mouth gets to popping. You know what I mean? And once that mouth gets to popping, you see DJ say, okay, you obviously don't know who I am.
Yeah,
Let me show you.
I thought Alan Miller showed up better in those spaces. That Whitney Young, Morgan Park.
I like Adam Miller, though. I like Adam. I'm not knocking Adam. But again, here's the difference.
And I'm hella biased.
But here's the difference between Adam and
Whitney
the rest
Young
of them.
all the way, but
Here's the difference between Adam and the rest of them. Adam's a Peoria boy.
mm-hmm.
And that creates a different energy. He's probably playing on the playground. He probably had some of them I can't play this summer because I took the dump shot with the old guys. It's a different energy, and that's what I'm speaking to.
Yeah, no,
like
I feel you.
Chicago specifically is breeding these kind of cats.
I feel you. I just, when I say dog and cat, and don't get me wrong, like I'm not using cat as a
I know what you
negative
mean.
term. I mean,
That's
like
the energy.
cats get to their space, right, and they strike it from their space. A dog, fuck the space. All this is my space. You know what I'm saying? Like a cat gonna kind of quietly tiptoe around and get to their spot and attack, and that's okay, right? Dog life, fam, all of this is my space. The earth is my turf. I'm going to the bucket right now. I'm gonna bang on you.
And I like Tyler too. I ain't taking nothing from Tyler at all.
Yeah.
I like Tyler.
Yeah.
You know, I think Tyler got a bad rap because of his behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's Whitney Young too. Some of that's Whitney Young. You know, maintaining the brand of Whitney Young. You know, Tyler wasn't necessarily a bad kid.
Dr. Kenner is gonna protect the brand at all costs.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the politics of basketball. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? But I agree. I think Tyler got game, but DJ's a different G.
I agree.
Really is.
I think DJ's a better basketball player for sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm just in terms of watching a game. What's more entertaining? I'd rather watch Russell Westbrook play than KD, and that could sound ignorant or blasphemous, and then you could be like, oh, you're not a purist. Okay, fine, I'm not a purist. Whatever, call it what you want. I find one of their games more entertaining than the other. It just is what it is. Although I'm fully aware that KD is much better than Russ.
Worlds apart.
You know what I'm saying? I'm fully aware of that. But who do I want to watch? I want to watch Mike Tyson fight more than I want to watch Floyd Mayweather fight. You know what I'm saying? Give me the dog, you take the cat. And, that's just how I feel it. That's just, what I find more entertaining is all. I had a point and I just lost it. It had something to do with basketball. Whatever.
I don't know. Lionel's out there. Salute to Loyola.
Yeah,
At least it was
cooked.
Loyola that beat him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another fake hometown team. You know what I mean?
Chicago don't got no team.
We don't have. We don't.
They don't have
We
no-
don't have no college imprint
Nah.
other than University of Chicago, and that's not necessarily a college imprint in regards to like sports.
Certainly
at
ain't
all.
gonna be no athletics.
Yeah.
The only time it even felt close is when Q and all of them was at DePaul, and that was just you just felt like that because of them. Like you felt like you knew them. You still didn't feel no particular way about DePaul per se.
That's true.
It was just like them the guys.
We don't have a college imprint, specifically in the black world at all.
I saw Bobby last night. Bobby and Steph Hannah, they went to Hyde Park.
I know Steph.
Yeah,
He trained there.
yeah.
Steph was a dog too.
Yeah, dog. Mm-hmm. For sure. Steph could ball like a mug. Steph was,
Steph is in the movies. Yeah, that's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
He's in a movie on. I be watching all them B movies on Amazon. I can't help it. I love like the fake. I filmed this movie on my iPhone. I love it. I can't help it. I love the movies. Right.
He was trying to get me to come to the studio up the street. I told you that's the studio down there.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, we finna go down to the. I'm like, nah, I don't feel like hanging with y'all tonight, man. I thought about it, and it would have been decent. But
It would have been. I'm sure of it.
I was just like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like doing that with y'all tonight, Steph and Bobby.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, because Bobby got that Society 21, whatever Society 2201, whatever the hell it's called. It's called Society, I think is what it's called. It's
Well,
at
he's
2201.
training over there at Overton too.
Yeah.
Over the Overton school.
Yeah.
He trains over there. So Eric been rocking with him for like 2 years now.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, hooping is the thing. But you absolutely right on where you hoop and how you grow up hooping. Like it breeds a certain energy. It's a different kind of thing. My brother Des was in here talking about they need to spend a summer at Hayes. That's where we spent all of our summers. That was
But Hayes ain't like that no more.
every day we was at Hayes. Get up there early, walk up to Hayes. You leave when that shit shut down. Nobody even, you know what I mean? Like it was.
Cole Park was like that. It was a bunch of parks like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they just not like that no more.
Mm.
Right? I think the energy is bred, the media and our minds succumb to these concepts of the city being so violent. I made the joke about my family from Alabama. And I don't want to come to Chicago, I'm going to get killed. But we move with that same energy in our neighborhoods. You don't let your kids go outside. You don't see kids riding bikes no more. You don't really see that like that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though, because
different energy.
even that was just a part of it. You know what I'm saying? It was just a part of it. Yeah, shit came to, you know what I'm saying? You talking shit on the court and somebody think they got next or somebody arguing about this, arguing about that, and then, it could turn into a fight. And somebody might, I'm going to the car, I'm going to my trunk. Like, whatever. And then what? Motherfucker, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you just, I don't know. You grow up in it and you develop this kind of ability to deal with that shit.
That's why we was having that back and forth argument with Maze, though.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a cultural standard anymore, right? It's all defined by the white cultural standard, right? So, you know, if you're in my age bracket, the average summer death toll, I don't want to say summer, but yearly death toll was like 2,000 almost, on average. You know what I mean? There was never a time that my parents kept me in the house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And not to say that, you know, that was the smartest move, but I grew up knowing murderers.
Here you go.
Of it, you know what I mean? But again, it's that also creates this level of connectivity to that community and to those people. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean I'm forced to live in that space. You know, I lived in that space. I grew up in that space, but I also went to Beasley Academic Center, which at the time was the premier grammar school in all of the country.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So you get this kind of exposure to these two different worlds, but it also alerts you that at both sides of the spectrum, they really just people. You know what I mean? And I can appreciate both sides of that.
That's it.
Now we have this very false class divide, right? Because those kids who get that experience that I got at Beasley now don't get that neighborhood experience that I was getting on 95th Street. You know what I mean? It's just this one Beasley experience. So it's just, and I'm saying Beasley because it's, you know, but just like to my son, his whole basketball career. My son is a way better athlete than I could have ever imagined being. Like physically gifted. You know what I mean? He was showing me the other day he could grab the rim with two hands. Boy's a little, he ain't tall at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, he ain't got his growth spurt yet, but to jump up and get the rim with two, that boy got hops. You know what I mean?
He do.
He got hops. But I tell him all the time, at his same age range, I'd have dog walked his ass with none of his athletic ability, just because of the way I approached the game mentally versus how he approaches the game mentally. You know what I mean? So all that skill don't mean nothing because I just would have had I'm not going to lose to you attitude.
Right.
And that's just what it would have been.
That matters.
That's all it would have been.
That matters.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that came from that difference in experience. His whole thing, he's going to always get on next. Because everybody, whoever the five is, gets to play next.
Right.
That wasn't my experience. You know what I mean? It could have been 35 people on the sideline. If the old head says you ain't playing, you ain't playing.
Old heads ran the court.
They ran the court.
They ran the court. They sitting over there, and if you don't know it, you don't even know that they running the court. They sitting over there, they busting spades, they talking shit, they drinking their beers or they yak, and they just sitting there. But they running the whole shot. They calling the whole thing from over there. I had the first time I had a fight at Hayes was about that. It was about next. It was about next. I had next, and after that game was over, somebody else was trying to jump on like they had next. I'm like, no, the fuck you don't, fam. And they was older than me, you know, like 5-6 years older than me or some shit like that. But I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna have to be what's gonna have to be. Fam, you're not taking shit from me. That's what's not gonna happen. So it turned into this whole thing, and he acting like they just gonna run they five out here and play. I'm like, no, the fuck you not, fam. Like you not. And so now the old heads, they got to come on here and figure out what's going on. TK and all them, they like, what's going on? And I'm like, ain't nothing going on. It's just my game, and he think it's his, and he got the game. He got it fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, you have a little scrap, and then you hoop. Nobody's leaving. You know what I'm saying? We still gonna hoop, and that's just gonna be what it is.
But that creates an energy.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
All of those experiences created energy.
That was probably the best game I ever had at Hayes. I was going. I'm not a hooper. That ain't my game. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna embarrass me on the court, but I ain't gonna embarrass nobody else either. It ain't my game. But that day, cooking because I was pissed. You know what I'm saying? I think I scored like the first 8 points just to start the game. I was mad as hell. Creates an energy, man.
We got this. We make this argument all the time that black people aren't a monolith, right? Mm-hmm. And I can hear that from one standpoint, but from another vantage point, we are very monolithic. Mm-hmm. From the standpoint of economic access, we're monolithic as fuck, right? So those inner city, poor, impoverished experiences are, in a lot of ways, are synonymous with.
So shouldn't that create
in black experiences?
Shouldn't that create our identity then? A shared understanding, like.
No, because we base our understanding on aspiration. So everybody wants to get away from that, right? So
fucked up.
Just recently, you start to hear these conversations about buying the block back. Mm-hmm. But 10 years before that, it was like, man, I'm getting the fuck up out of here.
I'm gone.
I don't want to be associated with this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And some of them experiences traumatic, and I get it. And it will make you say, I want to get the fuck up out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, all of that is based into that lack of code of conduct, that lack of a real kind of identity in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But again, this is also what brings forth the conversation that we always had, this back and forth. There's this contingency of people who was able to escape that level of poverty, right? And even that, and oftentimes, is really elusive or an illusionary belief system.
I got you.
I don't think class really exists in our communities. But just think about what I just said. My son is on 51st Street, right? O Block is a walking distance from, and I'm only using O Block because that's something everybody in the country could recognize at this point. But my neighborhood itself isn't much different than O Block, right? But I could reach out, I could extend my arm and touch Obama's house. You know what I mean? My son crosses Cottage Grove, and his whole experience is that downtown High Park experience. He went to private school. All the things to go with his parents being one rank up the economic totem pole than my parents were. You know what I mean? And his entire experience, at least in his mind, is different than that of my entire experience. You know what I mean? And it creates a disconnect from the vast majority of black experiences that there are. Yeah. You know, so I have to purposely inundate him into different kind of communities. He purposely played football in Roseland. You know, I purposely built friendships around my old neighborhood so he would be back and forth. I purposely put him in a position. I purposely put him on the train to go to that private school. I purposely want him to go through some of these experiences, some of these neighborhoods, to experience that you still are part of this ecosystem. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't confuse this shit. Right. It's the journey, not the destination. In this journey, you recognize how you fit into this ecosystem, although your destination does not line up necessarily with the ecosystem. You know what I mean? And that has to be, in my mind, it has to be a necessity, because when you create that other identity or that fake upper echelon class identity, what we're really doing is aligning ourselves with white beliefs and white thought.
At the end of the day.
Right? And we keep championing white beliefs and white thought because we don't really have an investment in what it means to be black.
That's real. And we got to be able to find out what that is, what that means, what that looks like, and then how that should influence our behaviors and our decisions in terms of what we pursue and what we deem to be most valuable, right? And I think we can absolutely do that and be comfortable with knowing where our next meal is coming from, or able to enjoy certain experiences. I think there's a value in being able to do both. And I understand, for somebody who may have, grown up and you see dead bodies in the street, on your way home from school or something like that, and you're like, I never want my shorty to walk past that going to school, so I'm leaving. All right, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because they trifling, right? And I mean like CPD, coroner's office, like that body will be in the middle of that fucking street for all motherfucking day. And it's like, yo, y'all gonna come get him up or no? Like, but you deal with that, you experience it. The reality of the environment kind of sets in on you. But for me, it never set in on me to a way it was like, I don't want to be here. Like, it was never like that. It was always like, how do we make this better? Like, how do we not experience this in the exact same way, right? And some of it you kind of foolishly proud of and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I got tons of stories I can go back and like, yeah, that was close as hell. And foolishly, like, I don't know, proud of it for some reason. That being said, I definitely want to create communities where we don't have those types of experiences, but create them together. Like, running away to somebody else's community where they don't want your ass either, and eventually then, okay, now they kick everybody out of the city. Okay, now everybody is in, I don't know. I don't want to call no fucking place out, but everybody's somewhere else, right?
I don't think communities exist where you don't have those kind of experiences.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I
don't understand you. I don't know you, what happens in your household, or what you've been through. This ain't a community. You just live over there. Yeah.
I think it's just an appreciation, though. Right? And I think when you're a part of, when you have an investment in, when you are a part of that ecosystem, you find ways to have an appreciation for it. Because you build what's really valuable in life in it. Relationships, man. It's just that simple.
It's just that, it's that simple, man. And it's why, 34, 35 years old, I can see somebody way in California that I ain't seen in 20 years and be excited as hell about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, I really love you. Like, you come from the same place I come from. We walk the same streets every fucking day. Went to the same school, dealt with the same shit. I love you, bro. It's good to see you. I was just about to curse your goofy ass out because you was tripping, but I didn't know who you were.
It builds a level of kinship.
It does.
I've a lot of my cousins grew up in the suburbs, and to date, I've not found any of their relationships to be solidified like most of my relationships were solidified.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that's a Chicago. I'm a suburban thing. I just think it's interesting how that plays out.
Yeah.
And I think Chicago's a different demon too. We're a very segregated city, so it's kind of cliquish at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, maybe that plays into it. Maybe part of my friendships and why relationships last so long is because of the segregation and the cliquishness of Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you very rarely find people that's been together since 4 or 5 years old still together at 40 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you supersede friendships; they become family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it comes from that shared experience, from those understandings, and I think that. Plus, I think like growing up in the city, like this idea of you having 1,000 friends, that should get you killed. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, that should get you killed. You don't got that many friends, right? And so even now, as a person who don't put myself in no wild situations and nothing like that no more, don't really have no, you know what I mean, whatever. But even now, I have a hard time like getting into this space where it's like, this social media age where it's like the more friends and followers you have, the better. It's like, nah, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know how to move that way. Even though now that some of that is, probably would be beneficial to me professionally, but I don't really, and I show love to everybody, but just this idea that like all these, like it's just, I don't know, it's a different energy for me. I'm trying to come up with a guest list for a birthday celebration. I got to like 10, I was like, whew, I don't know anybody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just think there's value in having those sincere relationships and those genuine connections, man. And that's why I appreciate what we do here every day. Like, I appreciate the Is With His fam because it feels like family, even though sometimes we just meet. I got a chance to meet Phil the other day. Phil Samuels that being here all the time, man. Got a chance to pull up on him and drop his hoodie off, and it was just good to, see him and feel his energy in person, man. It was dope, and we chopped it up for a minute. That kind of organic, connection, family shit is what I'm like more so than the superficial bullshit that we see a lot of, whether that's social media or whatever the hell else.
But social media isn't the root cause of it for us. Okay. Like it affects us different. So when you start thinking, like if you go through the data mind of like how media affects certain groups, like media's imprint on the black community has always been greater than every other community.
Sure.
We consume it at a higher level.
Sure.
Has a different impact on us than it has on anybody else.
Sure.
And when you get to the why of why it impacts us in the way that it does, is because we're not rooted in anything else.
Right.
Those other communities are rooted in something different. There's a tradition. There's a identity. There's something there that says, yeah, that's cool, but this what the fuck I'm on.
And they're not trying to buy shit back. They're not trying to buy their worth back.
But that's why.
You know what I mean? Right.
It's solidified already. Right. So when it hits us, it's like, maybe we out on this. So maybe we out, we're not rooted in anything. So in a lot of ways, social media is an effect instead of a cause per se.
Agreed.
Right. But all of the things that we talked about today, even when we was having a conversation with the Biggs earlier, and we was going back and forth with Mays earlier, is because we're only dealing with the effect. And that's why I always mention the Neely Fuller quote: until you fully understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything you think you understand will only confuse you. And that becomes the impetus of where we start our arguments, at the confusing part, right? We got to get past and beyond the confusing part, right? We think like this because of white supremacy. Now, you can argue back and forth all you want.
Right. Can we get to it, though?
But if every institution in America is designed and built on the premise of upholding white power structures,
Right.
then you'd have to be a fool to think they educated you any differently,
Okay.
right? You'd have to be a fool to believe that.
Or to assume that they would.
It's not beneficial.
It don't
to
even
the
make
goal.
sense, G.
It don't make sense. So in order to approach or
But it's
broach
uncomfortable
any
to think about.
conversation, you got to, one, let go of all the shit that you've learned and relearn.
And things that you find comfortable.
You got to let go of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And therein lies the struggle in us finding our identity,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do I let go? Should I have told you this story? Probably. I think I've told it on the air. You know, I used to coach a basketball team that they used to get their ass whooped. They was older boys, and I asked them, I figured out the reason they was getting their ass whooped because they was pretty much just scared, right? So it's easy in my mind to fix that shit. Go and have a conversation like, man, how many of y'all had a fight? Nobody raised their hand. How you 14 and they ain't never had a goddamn
Never
fight?
had a fight,
And
G?
you an athlete. It's I couldn't even fathom the thought.
How you ain't never had a fight, fam?
Couldn't fathom the thought, right? So I said to him, I said, man, you ain't never had a fight with your homie in the neighborhood?
Ever,
That was
fam?
my first question. The responses came out like, man, I don't have no homies in my neighborhood, Mr. Werner. I don't go outside of my neighborhood. Ain't no, this is going down the line, right? At the time, this was at one of Eric's first private schools, right? Wasn't no tuition assistance. If you there, you coming from something.
Right.
Somebody paying for this shit.
Right.
And ain't nobody helping. So
Right.
you can't tell me you live in the bottom of the barrel. I refuse to believe it.
Right.
So I started asking, where you live? And they start giving me the areas and where they live. And I was like, fuck you mean you can't come outside?
Right.
Like, I know them. What do
Right.
you mean?
Right.
Right? But we impose these ideas on our children that we're getting from television because we're not having them in our own experience.
Right.
Right? And then we create ideology in them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, these kids go to one of the top grammar schools in the city of Chicago.
Right.
From there, they're going to go to one of the top high schools in the city of Chicago.
Right.
From there, they're going to go to one of the top colleges
College of
in
their
the country.
choice. Right.
Right? And then they're going to come back and they're going to become leaders of our communities while all the while never having any relationship to our community.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationship to our community is via social media and TV, just like the goddamn white child.
Mm-hmm.
They have no understanding of us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So in my mind, I was like, man, y'all fucked up. But then I had to look a little deep and say, in a lot of ways, I'm doing the exact same shit to my child. So at that point, I started letting go of the reins. No. He got to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
He got to experience this neighborhood. He got to be a part of this ecosystem.
Got to, man.
You know what I mean? He has to.
There's just value in that stuff, man. When I got to Whitney Young, it was a culture shock for me. Just in terms of the people and what they was into and how they moved and shit. It was just a real different experience for me than Bryn Mawr was on 73rd and Jeffrey. And now, and all very, very smart people, mostly very, very cool people. I don't have nothing bad to say about these folks I don't have anything bad to say about them. What I will say is that these are not people who are ingratiated into the community like that in a real way, right? They're not people who got strong bonds to their communities or neighborhoods or anything like that, or this park or that street or, nothing like that. And so, and I mean, for the most part, there were some, but for the most part, that wasn't really the case. And, now that we're all adults and into our careers or whatever, you're absolutely right. These are politicians, they're lawyers, they're doctors, and great. Salute it, commend it. Again, these are all very intelligent people. For the most part, they're cool people. But these are not people, and I know them well, that I would be like, yeah, they going to look out for black people about this, that, or the third. They are not. Okay? Many of them have wives or husbands who are not black now. You know what I mean? I'm talking about black people.
No, I'm clear.
It's not the
How could they? Their relationships ain't with our people.
right.
It just is what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like that TV show, Soul of America, when they say, when did you find out you was black? And all of it came in relationship to trauma to whiteness.
Mm.
Oh, I found out I was black when Becky Sue mama said I couldn't go to the 8th grade dance with her. Well, wait a minute. That's when you start to define yourself through some traumatic shit?
Mm-hmm.
How else do you think you going to... Think about this, just in our regular lifestyles, right? And I always talk about in relationships, until you pass 101, you can't get the 102. And 101 is in that relationship is a reflection of what you need to internally deal with to fix yourself, right? Well, that's a lens that you can see up front because it's in your face. Now, most of us don't deal with that lens. We demonize the partner. Oh, this person ain't shit. Get rid of them, get a new one. And we keep taking one-on-one over again, right? So if these traumas are deeply ingrained in us, when do you think we deal with them? We don't. It just becomes our truth. It's just like whoever that was. I think Beulah always knows it better than me. She remembers it's like our traumas become our truths. I think that was a statement. And that's exactly what the fuck happens. So, yeah, black people ain't shit. And that's out of the mouths of black people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But in truth, you don't have any relationships with black people.
Right. To even make that statement.
To make that statement. You know,
Same thing.
Like people say black businesses ain't shit. When you ever did business with a black business?
Right.
You ain't got no business. One.
How the fuck you know?
How the fuck you know?
Right.
All you know is a black cashier.
Right.
That's not black business, homie.
Right.
You fucked up.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't have those experiences. It just doesn't.
To even make those types of statements.
We don't.
But it's the same thing we talk about when, you get a sister to be like, yo, black men don't protect black women. All right, sis, I hear you. You're heard. This is a safe space. What about your father?
Yeah.
What about your brother? What about the homies you know?
Oh, them different.
Oh,
Why the fuck they different?
So if all the men you know would definitely defend you, who are you talking about, love?
Yeah. Because you talking about motherfuckers, the hypothetical motherfuckers that the media made up for you?
On TV, you talking about, like, who are you talking about, love?
Yeah, it's real shit.
If the men in your life, the black men in your life, would absolutely defend you, who are you talking about?
Shout out to Beulah since she made the original statement and she's corrected me. Go ahead, Beulah.
Something she said earlier was that Chicagoans are very different. We see each other in other places and we always vibe. We're connected no matter where we end up. Gino followed that up and says, the folks and the brothers was one when we was at Southern in Baton Rouge. You know what I mean? There's just a connectivity to like Chicagoans. And I think it gets tighter the further away from the crib we get. Once we get back here, all right, fair, you can go over there and you can go over there and I can go over here. But once we somewhere else, you just from the crib and it's like, yeah, they from the shop.
I also think that has something to do with that ADOS tribe kind of construct. Like up until recently, up until ADOS became a terminology, a term, you don't really think of blackness in that way. Right? The diaspora is the diaspora, and we kind of just accept it as is. But when you really recognize that Chicago is the mecca of American descendants of slaves, there's a certain energy that comes with that because there's a certain experience that comes with that. There's an experience that's different than the Nigerians. There's the experience that's different than the Haitians. There's an experience that's different than even the Puerto Ricans, per se. You know what I mean? But there's an experience that's different than the diasporic experience. Whether we could cognitively speak to that experience or not, because we didn't even have the terminology up until very recently,
right?
You could definitely feel the difference.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that goes back to the value of identity. It's ingrained anyway. We just got to define the shit. And once we define it and keep those standards above, we'll move forward. But until we do, we're going to align ourselves with aspiration. And when you align yourself with aspiration, well, essentially, you're aligning yourself with whiteness.
Do you think that people are just afraid of the identity? Right? I mean, afraid to see themselves with being defined as that identity. You know what I mean? So like you said, we understand it, right? It's a shared experience. We feel it. We know it. We can't necessarily define it because, again, language can be limiting sometimes. But we understand what it is. But then are we then afraid to be that? Like, are we like ashamed to be in that space? Like, oh, no, I don't want to be black because I have such aspirations toward whiteness.
What's the value asset in America?
Money?
Pretty much. Right? And traditionally, American descendants of slaves have been contagions to wealth. So to align yourself with a group that has been a contagion to wealth when the very value asset in this country is wealth, or at least the appearance of wealth, or materialism, or things, however you want to put it.
Right.
Like, because we confuse wealth. But at the end of the day, the guy that's amongst a group of kids wearing shoes from Target, the guy with the Jordans is wealthy. You know what I'm saying? It's subjective. So in essence, all of our desires and goals align ourselves with a cultural value set that says you only have value when you've reached XYZ level of standard of acceptability via materialism, right? So you got to have the right car. You got to have the right address. You got to have the right sneakers on your feet. And all of us, I got ain't no reason in the world I should have as many gym shoes as I do. It ain't even logical. I can't wear them shits. You know what I'm saying? I told you, Gino got me some shoes. I don't even know what the fuck they are. These is like one of one. I don't know where they are. That's insane. You know what I mean? It is, but we all have been affected. You know what I mean? And to think that you haven't been affected, you're foolish. Right? There's a reason why you're going to have that Porsche. There's a reason why I got 800 pairs of Jordans. There's a reason all of us are trying to meet that social standard. You know what I mean? But we haven't defined for ourselves within our group who we really are. And as long as we're chasing whiteness, and that's the argument I made on the last show, white people don't have any standard. They don't have to have any standard. Because every time they walk outside their door, they're feeding their standard.
Right. I'm already validated, fam.
I'm already validated, and I own everything. So just me going to Starbucks is reinvesting in my community. Just me going to Target is reinvesting.
I can just be whatever the fuck I'm doing.
I can just be
because everything is for me.
I can just be, but every other group has to be very
intentional and deliberate.
And deliberate. We don't, and we don't because we are the most American of all Americans. So we move like white Americans. Right, we're the most affected by that institution of white supremacy because we've been here with it the longest. You know what I mean? So we move like white folks without white ownership.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then look at each other like, why the fuck you ain't on the white folks side?
Right.
Like if you push back against the white folks side, you like May.
You pushing back against us.
Like May said today, you on that Hotep shit. And I asked Mays today, right? I said it because he's like, think about how we've turned Hotep into a negative word. But then we embrace nigga. We don't see the sickness in this shit. This is sick. Right? But we'll make arguments that, these Hoteps. Like, that's become a derogatory term, and then we'll find ways to uplift nigga. Like, we don't see the sick. Y'all, come on, bruh. That you really taking the cocaine at that point. Come on, bruh.
Test your work. Listen, that's why I asked the question a few minutes ago. Are we, like, afraid or ashamed to stand in that fullness of that identity?
Yeah.
Because we have such aspirations to this other shit.
Yeah.
So
it has no value.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has no value.
Yeah, we fucked up out here, fam.
We fucked up, G.
We fucked up out here,
We
fam.
fucked up, G. We demonized Hotep and champion nigga.
Yeah,
I mean, that is motherfucking. That's crack cocaine.
I was listening, and Maze was talking about this concept of preaching to the choir, right? And the people who need to hear the information the most rarely are even getting it, right? Because we talking to people who, for the most part, understand it, right? But I say all the time, I just think there's extreme value in preaching to the choir. I think there's extreme value in the choir being on the same page and then moving, forward as a collective and disseminating information throughout the rest of the congregation. So I see value in having the conversations amongst those of us who understand that there are some problems and who are actively engaged in overcoming those problems. But even in that group, we've yet to define ourselves. And until we do that, you don't have a leg to stand on to say, hey, second group or third group, come join us. Come join what?
And I think, too, we got to acknowledge, too, that in regards to this context, in regards to this conversation, we're a very, very, very young populace. Even the conversation that we was having today stemmed around rappers, and then it transformed into money.
Hove.
Right? But when you think about that, there's only been one demographic of black folks that really make money, which was the boomers as a collective. But then after that, when you get into real math, there's only been one other populace to make uber wealth, but not as a collective, but even just in a small pocket, which is our generation, Generation X, which is rappers, entertainers. Let me not say rappers, but entertainers.
All your guys.
Right?
Diddy, Hove, Baby, they all the same age, ain't they?
They was all born like within 2 years of each other, or 1 year of each other. You know what I mean? So, and that speaks to time, meaning like, how doors and how rhythms and patterns play too, because it matters. Time changes shit. You know what I mean? For real. Like, you can get in on the investment early and you make a lot of money. Right. You could be born at a late time, you're just gonna be fucked. You don't have that opportunity no more. So that group has been able to get that level of wealth, and not only did they get that level of wealth, but they also got that level of visibility attached to that wealth, right? Which is kind of new.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
and they hit at the right time when CDs were still a thing and people were buying records. You fast forward just 5 or 10 years out of their prime, CDs are obsolete. Ain't nobody buying shit. Now you got to figure out, okay, what's this download and spins game? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is that looking like? And it's a different thing, man. It's a different thing to where you like. So now you got people like comparing the record sales to like Nelly's record sales or Eminem record sales. Like, you're wasting your time. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it's
a different thing. 50 came out and sold 11 million records. G, that you're not finna do that. Like I don't.
It's never gonna happen again.
And I think some of these cats. I think Lil Baby is a very very smart dude, but you wasn't born at the right time to do the numbers that Fifth did, fam.
It's just not gonna happen again. Because time has shifted.
Yeah,
right? We've moved on from this part. We've moved on from this conversation at that point. So, in regards to like economics in general, in my mind, I think the reason why we've been allotted this small group to obtain this level of uber wealth, I'm saying uber wealth in comparison to the rest of our community, because in comparison to a lot of other communities, it still ain't no goddamn money, right? But I think you've been able to garner this uber wealth and this uber celebrity because it's part of the strategy, right? It's part of the strategy to maintain control. You know what I'm saying? It's just like anything else. There's that poster that says, sooner or later, the rich ain't gonna have nothing left to eat, but the poor ain't gonna have nothing left to eat but the rich. Right. So the way you keep them poor people at bay is keep them ingratiated into ideas of hope. But look at this. You could be this one day. And it works.
Oh, it works.
You know what I mean?
Masterfully.
It works. How many times you go to any neighborhood or any barbershop and the conversation is between who's the greatest rapper?
Right.
Shit, the conversation we was having today about was who's the greatest rapper, which is a artistic expression, changed to who got more money.
Right.
Think about that. And these is grown men having this conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the anchoring into the conversation is always aspirational.
Right.
Right. And it works and it distracts you.
Who's the best rapper? Which one? Who's the best artist? Which one got the most money?
How does that even correlate? It doesn't even fucking make sense. You know what I mean? Would you say that about a fucking author?
Or a chef?
Or a chef? You know what I mean? Like, this shit ain't even a logical
Which one of them is the
comparison.
better chef? Which one got the most money?
It's not a logical comparison. Right? But that is the definitive of how we judge all our shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Emerald Lagasse and Salt Bae have to be the greatest two chefs in the world because they're the most famous and, you know, relatively wealthy amongst the group.
Even in how we compare athletes, right? Who's better, LeBron or Jordan? Then shit comes into play like Jordan shoe sales and you know, well, look what LeBron did to the community. We talking about basketball, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is about between this motherfucking 90 feet and these two 10-foot rims. What are they doing there?
That's why AI is overlooked in that conversation too often, in my opinion. I don't think you should have a basketball conversation about the best to ever do it. I mean, not when you get, I'll say 10 deep, right? I'll even go that far. I kind of want to say 5, but I'll say 10 deep. To me, if you have a conversation 10 deep about the best basketball players of all time and Allen Iverson is not in the conversation, you are tweaking, right? And he don't got to be there, but he ain't in the conversation, you're tweaking right now. And I think that's only because he didn't have the off-court success of a LeBron, of a Jordan, of a Magic
But why
Johnson.
didn't he have the off-court success?
Because he wasn't beholden to the bullshit.
He looked like a nigga.
He wasn't beholden to the bullshit.
He wasn't willing to play.
No, I'm not. I don't have those kind of aspirations. I like the ball and be around my people. I'm going to come up here. I may or may not come to practice. I'm going to drop 40 on these niggas, and I'm going back to chill with my people, fam.
Because I remember the success of the first Reebok Iversons.
Oh, the shoe was fire.
Yeah, them shits couldn't stay on the shelf.
Nah.
You know, I wore a size 11 at the time, and I bought a size 9 because that's all they had left to take the motherfucking insoles out. I remember it.
Wanted those.
I gotta have them.
Gotta have them. No, it was fire.
You know what I mean? Gotta have them. So, but I also think that timing matters, right? Like I'm a Chicago boy, and I love Mike because I'm a Chicago boy. We got to be real. Like Mike was born with the inception of hip hop, right? So the music of the time kind of undergirded his growth, right? The fashion
Crack
of the
era.
time undergirded his growth. Like Jordans are still popping today. Them kids who wear Jordans or standing in line for Jordans today never seen Jordan play a game. You know what I mean? It's all undergirded by the energy of the time. You got Spike Lee coming out with the whole 40 Acres and the Mule movie series, like all the films that came out with that. You know what I mean? You got hip hop budget, and you got Mike being that guy.
Yeah.
In that era.
At the right time.
He was just at the right time.
When money was flowing through the black community via the black market. You know what I mean? There was dope money in the community. And so that is how Nike was so terribly short-sighted in their projections of his shoe sales. They was like, oh, yeah, we might do, what they say, $3 million over the life of this deal? Some I forgot what the number was. Something stupid. But first shoe sales blew that shit out the water. And they like, what is this? Well, lightning just struck, fam. You got this dude who's jumping out the gym, right? He got this swagger. He got this charisma to him. He's marketable, and he's cold as hell.
And he was born at a time when the birthing of maybe the most impactful cultural phenomenon has ever happened.
Rap.
I.e. hip-hop.
And then they put him in Black Mecca.
That's it. It all works.
Hey, we make all the jokes about Sam Bowie and Portland Trailblazers. He's not going to Portland, sir. Okay, I don't give a fuck who's making the pick. All right? That dude right there is going to our biggest remaining market that doesn't have a superstar. He's going to Chicago, fam. Just like Magic was going to L.A. and Bird was going to Boston.
Right.
Okay?
Because they orchestrated that shit too.
This is not by happenstance that those three organizations and then the New Yorks are, the premier organizations in the national basketball. That's not a coincidence, G. That's not.
Yeah, you can believe that lottery how the fuck you want.
Yeah, you can believe that if you want to, okay? All those banners hang out in L.A. at the Forum or Staples Center or whatever for a reason. All those banners hanging up in Boston for a reason. All the ones hanging in Chicago for a reason, fam. And it's not happenstance, okay? They put Bird in Boston for a reason. Boston's one of the most racist cities you're going to find. They put a great white hope there. They put Showtime Magic Johnson in L.A. because it's fucking Hollywood. And then we're going to make this thing.
We're going to sell you this theater.
We're going to sell you this theater all the time. Showtime Magic, all these up and down running gun black dudes, and then all these white boys over here, setting screens and hitting jump shots.
And winning. Fuck out of here, Joe.
You know what I'm saying? We go. You got Kevin McHale and Bird and Danny Ainge and them out here. We're gonna throw in Robert Parrish, and he
Isaiah says on national TV that if Bird wasn't a white man, he'd just be a regular player. And you damn near got Isaiah banned from the NBA for the rest of his life.
Yeah, fam. You can't come on the dream team.
Yeah.
Mike don't like you. Bird don't like you. Yeah. And we don't need you.
We don't need you. One of the greatest point guards that play the game.
We don't need you, fam. We're going to beat everybody by 50. Don't matter.
That's true. Right, but put
Christian Laettner on this team.
We can orchestrate this show because we control the mediums in which the narratives get promoted. Mm-hmm. Right? So therein lies why the internet becomes a space and place to change the game. Mm-hmm. Right? But at the same time, if we're paying attention, I think that's part of the conversation is about to shift. The internet, in my opinion, is about to be a pay-for-play kind of space. If you're not paying for certain media outlets, you're not going to get access to them. Mm-hmm. It's like now, if you get an article in your email from the newspaper, they give you the headline from whatever newspaper that sent it to you, right? And the article, the headline might be intriguing, so you click on the headline, you get to the paper's website, and the goddamn paper shows you the headline for like 3 seconds, then it cuts off to the advertisement of, you want to buy this newspaper? It's going to cost you just $1 a month. You know what I mean? I think that's how all social media sites are about to be in the very near future, because this access to information so free-flowingly disrupts the conversation of white supremacy. It is i.e. how you birth the George Floyd. It is i.e. how you birth the Black Lives Matter. It's i.e. how you birth all of these new movements that are happening on the ground.
It is how you get regular, everyday citizens to beat the fucking traders at their own game.
Reddit. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, now, obviously, they control the rules. They shut the shit down. But they beat y'all ass in y'all own stock market game.
But think of it like the dope game, right? That first test is free.
Right.
Once you're addicted, it's hard for you not to pay for it. Right? And you be a fool to think we're not addicted to this. This shit comes it comes with the smartphone.
Nothing will make you bend the block faster than leaving your phone at the crib.
Nothing.
We got to go back, fam.
We got to go get that.
I don't care how far we got to go back.
Right. That's more important than my wallet.
Period.
Yeah, matter of fact,
it can be my wallet.
They making it so it can be your wallet.
You know what I'm saying? It is my wallet now. So I can put my phone into this and pay for everything. And I'm still getting used to that. Because when I leave my ID. First of all, I don't keep nothing in my pocket. I got my phone, I got my keys, I got my ID, and I got my debit card. That's all I ever have. And if I leave my ID and debit card, I'd be like, oh, fuck. Now I'm smoked. And then I'm trying to remember that I got my phone. I still got access to all my accounts. Like, I'm good.
See, I don't know how to do all that. Just the other day, man, me and my daughter went to Mariano's, and I think what Mariano's closed, let's say it closed at 10. So we get there at like 9, 10.
Right.
And we running through shopping or whatever. I get to the checkout line, and I realize I don't have my wallet. So I don't have all that access to that stuff on my phone. I don't like doing all that. I don't want you to be able to catch me one time and be able to fuck my whole life up.
Yeah.
You got to catch me a few times.
No, I feel you.
So I rush about that joy, G. Go to the crib, get my wallet, come back, and start buying food. This was the dumbest shit in the world. So I left my cart in a certain area.
So you can go back to it and get it?
Security said, yeah, leave your cart right there. So I get back, and as we checking out, I'm recognizing all kind of shit that I ain't buy that. That ain't mine.
You to grab somebody else's cart?
No, man. What they did is because of this new technology, they got these Instacart carts. And they just start dumping shit in my cart and taking shit out my cart. So it was too late for me to go through every piece because the store was finna close and I needed some of this stuff for the next day because it was Bella's birthday.
Right.
But as I got home, I might have spent $200. $150 of that shit was not my shit.
On booze?
I was so mad.
Hey, what is wrong with you? Why do you even go to the store, bro?
Hey, man, my life is crazy.
You need to not go to the store,
It's
man.
crazy, bro. I swear to God, I got a crazy life.
Your ass is you are the crazy in your life. Like, what do you mean? Just in that bad shit you know you ain't picked up.
Like, did I get that?
What? Okay. Jesus, all kind of shit y'all don't even eat, man.
Yeah, it was terrible, dog.
That's hilarious. But you know, it'd be like that. But there are different ways. And Devin, yes, Allen Iverson, top 10 in the conversation. Again, if you come up with 10 dudes, I may not argue that those 10 could be ahead of him, but he needs to be in the conversation, bro. I think that again, people don't give AI his credit for how cold dude was at basketball. Like it's not a game, G. Like he was like different, next level cold. Like most of them Philly teams
was different, G.
Most of them Philly teams was trash. Like understand that. Like he didn't like that. Even the one he took to the finals against the Lakers, and somehow they won one game in that series when that Lakers team was a juggernaut.
Just him.
He was dolo on that team. Them teams was nigga. He was out there with Matt Geiger and fucking Eric Snow. Like you know what I'm saying? Like Tyrone Hill. I'm not disrespecting these dudes, but that ain't the team you you take A off that team.
And the man was 5'10".
And he's 5'10".
85 pounds.
85 pounds, 5'10", getting up in there, getting buckets, finishing over big dudes. He could whatever you need. He getting all the steals. Like he's playing 48 minutes of this joint. Like AI, you gonna come out? No, fam. We go to overtime. I'm gonna play 53 minutes. Like, yeah, AI, man.
Different demon.
AI was different. If AI was 6'3", or if he wore suits to his press conferences, like everybody would be like, "That's top. He's dude's top 5 all time." Like he was that kind of cold.
Yeah,
that kind of cold.
People who played the game with him tell you that already.
Yeah, everybody knows. Like, dude was a Kobe. Kobe would tell you. Like Kobe, like I spent so many nights watching film on Allen Iverson. Because he was like he was a problem. He's like I had to figure out how to solve this problem because AI was a problem, fam. But he wasn't, off the court. He didn't have that kind of success. Tim Duncan don't get his respect because Tim Duncan was quiet. You know what I'm saying? Tim Duncan he said 10 words his whole career. I can't remember a single press conference from Tim Duncan. I don't remember a Tim Duncan commercial. None of that shit.
Man, the man got a tramp stamp tattoo though. I have a very difficult time.
All right, we out. We out.
We
out, fam.
History because the man got a tramp stamp tattoo.
Does he really?
It's weird. You like I be always like, who convinced him to do that? Like,
ain't he like a surfer or some shit?
Why would somebody do that?
Why though, fam? Like you sat there and let some dude just doodle on the bottom of your back?
Why did you let somebody do that? Like, what's wrong with you, fam?
Yeah. If you don't have the rest of your back tatted, the bottom of your back should not be tatted as a grown man.
It's real weird, man. Hopefully it leads to like some other whole back tattoo that I don't know about. But it's weird.
He don't know about it either. It's just one little word right here.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Tramp stamp.
It's hella weird. I don't know who convinced him to do that. You know
so there's this thing about stereotypes, man. And, everybody's kind of anti-stereotype. I'm not really anti-stereotype. Because for the most part, they come from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers ain't just make up shit. Like, oh, Chinese people can't drive. It's because they can't drive, man. It's like,
people really do like watermelon and chicken.
We really do like watermelon and chicken. You know what I'm saying? We really do be late. Like, CP time is some shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Now, you applied and all that. Yeah, okay, whatever. You can broadly apply it and be wrong about some things, but stereotypes don't come from nowhere, G. Every Asian I know, they can drive their ass off or they cannot drive at all. I'm talking about they can Tokyo drift some shit or they're out here fucking traffic up. And that's just the truth. You can say it's racist or whatever you want. It's the truth. And it's also true that most people that have a tattoo on that lower back region
At some point in time, sold box.
They get busy. I don't know if they. I don't know if they sold box to. I'm saying that they use their box well, and yeah.
10 from the Virgin Islands, man. Those are free people.
Wait, what? 10 from the Virgin Islands. There's those are free people. Yeah. Like, so, you know, people, it's a stereotype that if a woman got a tattoo right here, she a freak. But ain't she, though? Like, have you come across one that wasn't, is all I'm saying? Have you come across that? It was like, nope, she's not even about that action. And I'm not saying hoe and she fuck every person you ever known and no shit like that. But she is a freak, fam. Even if she's only fucking one person.
I don't think I've ever.
She's doing it in a very freaky manner.
I ain't crossing a whole bunch of back tats like that.
No?
Maybe one or two, but not a whole bunch. And I'm not going to speak to the one or two.
And you definitely came across it, did you?
Maybe once or twice. The back tats, I'm saying.
That's what I'm talking about, too. You came across the back tat.
Maybe once or twice.
Like, literally.
Goodbye.
You finally called me?
It's time to take a break.
You finally got with me?
It's time to take a break.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll dive deeper into this conversation about back tats.
No,
Tramp
we
stamps.
We probably won't dig deeper into that conversation.
Stereotypes.
We probably won't dig deeper into that conversation.
What about titty tats? Do they have the same?
So we're taking a break.
Do they have the same connotation that come along with that?
I don't know. What conversation comes across with that?
I'm saying, like we say tramp stamp. Do titty tats have the same type of thing? Or does that we don't really do that about those tats?
I never heard nothing about them.
Yeah, me neither. That's what I was asking. You know, you're so wise though. I figured I'd run it by you.
I'm not that wise.
So we're gonna take a break. When we come back from break, dive deeper into the conversations. I say what I said. Howard and Toussaint for another half hour. We'll be right back.
WIIFTBP Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP Media's just for you and me.
WIIFTBPM.
Everybody's talking about the all-new Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish. Place your order today for a delicious meal. The chicken and fish are fried to perfection, featuring a wide variety of catfish, perch, tilapia, whiting, and shrimp. Now it's your turn to see what everybody's talking about. It's the all-new Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish, Chicago's newest spot for delicious meals. Stop by at 2537 South Wabash in the South Loop, or get contactless delivery from DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. For more info, call 773-807-9010, 773-807-9010. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish is open just in time for lunch, or take it to the house for a delicious dinner. It's Chicago's new spot for perfectly fried chicken and fish. Don't wait any longer. Try it today. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish, 2537 South Wabash in the South Loop. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish. All day. Check it out. See, while you was on the corner trying to scrape up pack money, I was driving 80 stack trucks off rap money. I'm back money. If you want it, come to the hundreds and ask for me. Meet them OGs that'll blast for me. I'm right here. Ill Adidas, $400 jeans on me. Itchy with no safety, a loaded magazine on me. Southside, that's as wild as it gets. And no, I never sold crack. That's some house nigga shit. I'm not judging, but every man that's a man gotta stand by his principles, and I'm not budging. That's Mickey. You can take it how you want, but you can never be me. You can fake it how you want. I spit that uncut raw. You can bake it how you want. Break it down any way you like, you get the same result. Get in tune. The elephant in the room has now assumed pole position. Whoa. Oh. Live from the gutter where that butter get gorillas jobs. That's why we call it work. The same work who get a nigga robbed. I throw my dice against the concrete. If the bitches pass, see you later. Grab my paper, tell her stay to kiss my ass. This the jungle, baby, I'm a lion. Try me, I'll be firing. The same banger saved Private Brian. You the prey, you survive and hide. Better pray that them vultures and them rovers don't go flying by him. Them other niggas just so-so. How in the birth a nigga this hot in the cold go? I went from 20-inch assassins on that Osmo to the pretty 760 sitting low on them bozos. Those are big shoes, you motherfuckers is so slow. Get caught without your heat in these streets is a no-no. Baby need Pampers, daddy need that photo. It's bread or nothing, big old niggas, you see the logo. Whoa. Whoa. Come on, Scooter.
Look, I don't see a nigga alive. And if a nigga claim he better, then that nigga done lied. And if some niggas jump chose, bet them niggas done died. You can always spot a cobra by the look in his eyes. You look at his clique, check out his bitch, and look at his guys. Cause 9 times out of 10, all that tough shit be just a disguise. And that does it. I got the chrome Mac in a black luggage. Cause money ain't the root of evil, Jack is the lack of it. I stay different. I move around like y'all hate women. I'm starting to think this whole industry full of gay bitches. No checkers, it's a chess game. Catch me in the next lane. Fly nigga, bunch of ice on me like my chest ring. All money's pocketing that. Like a Hamas rocket attack. Explode profit and jacks where your moccasins black. Acknowledging that he resides. These scriptures is heathenized. Y'all couldn't paint the pictures that he provide. Eagle eyes, eagle eye to beef out. Either scream peace or pull your piece out. The flow will knock your teeth out. From out west where we never put our rags down, nigga. If I ain't the best, most likely it's that rag town, nigga.
That's me. All I can see on this beat. Whoa. Hey, haters keep hating. Y'all inspire me. Chicago, West Side, South Side, North Pole, East Side. Stick your chest out.
What's happening, family? We are back, and we are live from inside the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard. This is, I said what I said, on a Monday. Feeling good on a Monday, too, man. It's beautiful outside. I need a car wash, bro. My car is filthy, Jack.
Yeah, I do too, but fuck that. I got the bike.
Yeah. my car is filthy, G. It's not even cool. But every time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the car wash, they're like, nah, it's gonna rain all day tomorrow. Fuck it. I don't really care. I've never been inside my car like, damn, my car dirty. I don't even know it, fam. I'm inside the car. I don't know what it looks like out there. Whatever. But my father-in-law is like anal about his car. Like, I've seen this man wash his car in the rain. Like, I've seen him do that. He'll wash it every day if he got the opportunity to, which is he under that act. His birthday was yesterday. Something. I don't know, Friday, yesterday, whatever.
Salute to the old man.
Yeah.
Aries too? Or Pisces?
I think he's a Pisces. I don't know. 21st. I think he's a Pisces. I don't know. His birthday on 21st. But so I pulled up on him, take him his bottle, sit there, chop it up with him for a minute. And when I get there, he ain't there. He had went and grabbed some food. So I'm chilling. He come back. As soon as he walk in the house, he like, hey, why you got this dirty ass car out front of my house bringing my property value down? I said, look, man, clean it if you want to, okay? Wash it if you want to wash it. Whatever, fool. Yeah, but it's supposed to rain tomorrow too, so I don't, whatever. Either way, it's a beautiful day outside. And I kind of wish I was out there. If y'all tuned into the show earlier, y'all know I almost made it outside today. Almost didn't come to work. I almost made it. I came. I almost left. But Toussaint caught me in the driveway.
Jesus, Mythical Sky Daddy was on my side.
Mythical Sky Daddy, man. You might be Mythical Sky Daddy.
Won't he do it?
Got your computer back.
Won't he do it?
So we were talking about these tattoos. Tramp stamps, as everybody knows them to be.
I'm thinking about tramps.
I gotta tell you what They got to tell you what Steve did. Because him and Cherie both just, they wild about something. Can't find the comment, though. Okay. Steve say, real talk, all tramp stamp owners I've dealt with, except the box cutter in all hoes.
What?
All tramp stamp owners that he's dealt with, except they accept the box cutter in all hoes.
So I'm not gonna comment on
That's
that
your man. That's your man.
at all.
Cherie say, men with full-length wings tattooed on their back are a little moist to me. See, I love the tattoo, just not on a man's back. Sorry,
There's men
not
with
sorry.
full-length wings on their back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of moist. That's kind of moist.
They got wings that like span across their back. I know a lot of dudes who got it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They usually like some type of memorial to, their grandfather or grandma or something like that, right? It's like the angel wings across their whole back. And
Probably got their nipple pierced too.
probably got their nipple pierced
You
too.
ever heard the comment line? You rhyme like a nigga with his nipple pierced.
No. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Common had his nipple pierced.
No, he doesn't. That was his bar.
I
Shit,
heard
those
you.
dudes with nipple piercings. Common a G. You got Common confused. G.
I don't have him confused. I just wouldn't be surprised if he had a nipple piercing.
No, Common known for getting it. Never mind. I ain't gonna put Common's business out.
I ain't mad at Common. Hey,
He's
listen.
traditional Chicago cat.
He's the genuine article.
Yeah, he's a traditional Chicago
I got respect for Common.
Yeah, I
Just
just
wouldn't surprise me if he was
jump off stage and still on the dude. before.
if he was a little Maxwell, or what's the guitar player dude, the black dude that played the guitar and all that shit.
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz, yeah, he just wouldn't be. All three of them wouldn't surprise me at all if they had nipple rings.
I can see Lenny.
And Maxwell too.
I don't know about dude like that.
I don't know about dude like that. Like you seen Lenny's other nipple piercing or some shit.
I just don't know. I mean, I could see it, but I don't even know dude Maxwell like he disappeared forever.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Pretty wings. Maybe he got a pretty wings tattoo on his joint. That is funny.
Hey man, I was telling you about this Derek Jackson.
Right. So who is this dude? Because I don't know who it is, who he is, or what his situation is. But right after you told me, somebody was like, y'all gonna talk about the scandal? And I'm like, I don't know, dude.
So he's made his name in the public sphere as a relationship expert, specifically in a way that's very disparaging to black men.
Okay.
You know,
That's easy.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Veronica asked about it.
But he's written a couple books. He's part of the lexicon. Like he's, highly touted. I'm sure he makes a lot of money off the internet. And he talks because of his visibility. He's been able to create books, a line of books, and sell books based on, relationships and understanding the relationships and how relationships are supposed to work. And usually that's created kind of in the space of placating to women's ideas and desires while disparaging men in the process, and specifically black men. He has this real very arrogant and kind of, what's the word I can use here? He kind of just devalues men in general.
Hater.
I mean, yeah, and he's known, right? I can't think of the preacher who got in trouble cheating on his wife a few times.
Okay.
But he came out publicly about the preacher, and then they had this kind of back and forth discourse about how the preacher ain't shit and this, that, and the third. And
People will find any way to make a buck.
and they do, and it works though. You know what I mean? But then to see him being put in this position is like, well, he gets caught out there cheating on his own wife, and he starts making excuses as to why. But it reminded me of something different.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I meet one of those guys, and me and you have had this conversation privately, I know. Whenever I meet one of those guys with that pandering, Shah ass energy, I immediately think they rapists,
Yeah.
right?
When they be all this sister.
And just, whenever it's like, women deserve, and, when they hit you with that kind of shit, they might be walking around barefoot playing guitar and shit. All the time, I'll be like, oh, he's a rapist.
He take box.
He's a rapist. Yeah. He's dangerous around women. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's a manipulator.
He did that shit.
And it works. Like, you see it in the space. You see it work so perfectly. And I think that he's one of those kind of dudes. You know what I mean? And he's mastered it in the sense that he's found a way to monetize it.
My 7th and 8th grade teacher, Miss Chavez, rest her soul, she told us, she said, boys are moved by what they see. Girls are moved by what they hear.
Which is why all the old players in the neighborhood just said, man, you can still hit. You just got to find the right line. I'm just saying. And these dudes, to me, have become the masters of lies, the master orators of those great lies. And it's always kind of shaped in that pandering ideology, like, and women rock with it. You know what I mean? Bueller says he's the male equivalent of a pick-me woman. I push back on that because I like pick-me's. I think pick-me's are the genuine article.
Explain this pick-me thing to me, man.
It's,
I've been hearing the term a lot lately, and I don't know that I fully grasp the concept.
They say that they pander to men, essentially.
Oh.
You know, which I think is great. And I think even in the Derek, but seriously though, even in the Derek Jackson thing, I think the very nature of each of our essences is to pander to each other. But it's the way it's projected through this guy which is different. You know, it's almost like a caricature of it. You know what I mean? And in that caricature, he created a brand for himself. And again, he's made a lot of money. He wrote a book about him and his wife called Heal Together.
Wrote a song about it. When here it go.
He's wrote other books besides that. And again, like, you know, his average, I'm assuming his average YouTube, he makes a living off YouTube.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it's put him in a bunch of spaces where he's having conversations with large scale outlets because of his perspective and the kind of following that his perspective has garnered him. You know, so to see him up against the wall cheating on his old lady when he's kind of created this character.
Oh, is that what's going on with him now?
Yeah, he got caught cheating on his old lady.
I don't know who dude is or what the scandal. I don't know shit about dude. So he after he does all of this stuff, shitting on men about cheating and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Now you out here cheating on your lady?
Yeah, you ain't shit.
Because all you're doing is just popping off at the mouth. You're not really living this life you're talking about.
Yeah. Right. You just treating. You just it's.
What a clown, Bucko.
But at the same time, man, you know, it's like he's a clown, but we're clowns too, for listening, like for subscribing, for buying in. And I've had conversations with women specifically about stuff that this dude has said, you know, and there's a lot of people who fully believe and buy into the concepts that dude rocks with. But again, it goes into that nurture versus nature thing, and then just relationships in general being, there's no such thing as a relationship expert. There can't be. Right, because the gamut is too wide. The gamut is too large. Personalities are too different. You know what I mean? What works for you might not work for me, and it's no way to be a relationship. It's impossible. So when you start to, again, who creates your norms?
You can be the master of. You can be expert of your relationship, motherfucker.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, when you got a social norm created by whomever,
right?
It's a fallacy,
right?
And until you start to write your own narrative, you're gonna always find yourself at failure. And even dude, he's mimicking a narrative of hypotheticals in my mind, like what's supposed to be.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So,
and you can't back that up.
They're saying that, I guess, he and his wife are live on social media or something right now, and he's just kind of explaining himself, whatever. And his wife is there. She said that, so they said that they're holding hands. Why is she there?
Why is she there?
Why is she there to help him protect his brand? Because that's what y'all there for. This ain't y'all. This ain't marriage counseling. I'm not saying she got to leave the man, right? But you're there to ensure that his brand is able to sustain. You follow me? Do you see where I'm going with this thing?
Because his brand is what feeds them. I'm sure.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so even though he out here smoking you, and he's not the nigga he's out here putting himself out to be, and you're the one suffering from that, you still see so much value in the brand that I'm going to sit here and make sure that the brand is not damaged by this.
But it depends on
you
how
could say she's a ride or die, or you could say she is.
It depends on how she views suffrage.
Right.
Like, is it more suffering to be publicly humiliated, or is it more suffrage to not be able to eat? And I'm not saying she's not able to eat. I don't know her situation. But I know he makes a lot of money off the internet. You know what I mean? And I know he has his value in the lexicon. His value in the conversation is because he's on the internet. It's because he's a celebrity off the internet. He's known because of his internet presence. So I don't know. Maybe she gets, you know, she reaps some secondary values off of that. I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, I think it's just, and this is less about him per se, and more about the energy of the hymns of the world.
Right.
Because this dude shows up in every male space. He's in every one of them, right? He's been there probably since 6th grade. Like,
Yeah.
get your goof ass out of here, fam. You're goofy.
That guy.
That guy.
He over there talking to the girls like, oh, they said this, and he talking to her too, and talking. Man, don't get your ass beat about what I'm doing. How about that?
Yeah, and it's a goofy move. Like, I remember very early on, like I'm talking about like preteens. My cousin was like the king of the girls. He was in charge of the girls. You know what I'm saying? Flat out.
Are you in charge of the girls?
I am in charge of the girls. You know what I'm saying? And like he just was able to move through that population very smoothly in my mind. You know what I mean? And that was my perspective at 12 years old. But at, let's say, I don't know, 15, 16, I had a very different perspective. Still love them. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, man, I'd never be that dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was so corny once I realized, man, you ain't got to do that, dog. You know what I mean? But again, it was his methodology, and it was a manipulation play more than anything. He wasn't the guy he was presenting himself to be. You know what I mean? But it worked flawlessly. It was like flawless victory every time. You know what I mean? Come over here. You know what I mean? It was like, and it worked. You know, and I've just seen it play out in so many different sectors. And every time I see that guy, for me, it's immediately a red flag. Like this, get this mark away from me.
Yeah, they be clowns, G.
Super clowns.
They be clowns,
but
like
but it works.
Of course, because the circus is entertaining, and everybody caught up in the circus, fam. And you know, I don't have a hater bone in my body, so fuck it. Do what you're gonna do, fam. But I can absolutely recognize it, and I have no problem calling it out as clown shit. You know what I'm saying? If that's how you eat, and you are become a celebrity off that shit, go do your thing, fam. But it's clown shit. It's fuck as hell.
Bueller's right. Bueller's like Kevin Samuels is probably next. I'm just waiting. He was Derek Jackson's probably the first Kevin Samuels.
Right.
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 But he's way more aggressive on the guys. Right.
Okay.
But I think when Kevin Samuel gets caught up, it's gonna be with another man. I'm almost sure.
And it's gonna be Derek Jackson.
Yeah.
Look at
Kevin Samuels and Derek Jackson.
That is funny.
Kevin get jaxed.
Yeah, people just be I don't know, man. People be on some whole other shit for no reason, dog. Like I can honestly say, like at 35 years old, I ain't never in my life told a woman any fuck shit about some dude to increase my chances of getting the box or diminish his in any way, shape, or form. Never. Not in grammar school, not in high school, college, not as an adult. I'm not finna do that shit, fam. That shit is sucker shit. Now, if a woman comes to me like, yo, this is what I'm dealing with, this is how my guy's acting, I'll tell you what I think about that. But I ain't finna just be like, nah, don't do this with this, do that. Like, get the fuck out of here. You are a clown, sir. Like, certified
I've never
clown.
engaged in any conversation with any woman about any other dude that was interested in her.
Yeah, I just don't do it. It's just, that why would I bring up his name? You know what I'm saying? For any reason.
But that don't mean it don't exist.
Oh, clearly it exists. It's a lot
Shout out
of
to
shit.
Steve and all the noobs at college with me.
You said that don't mean it don't happen. They do it.
Shout out all the noobs. There was several women that stopped by my house who had a lot to say about my life. They didn't know me before then, but knew the noops.
Yeah, people love to talk about you, man.
I ain't mad at them, though. I've grown.
People love to talk about you, man. Some of the shit I've heard about be like, wait, what? Who said that? Oh, okay. That's
That's all good.
she's telling this as she's like getting undressed. Like, you know, such and such said, like, okay, whatever. Clowns. I don't understand it, but people clearly do that thing a lot for whatever reason. And now you have these monetary reasons for people to do it. And so now they becoming, you know, famous and celebrities, and they making bread off of it.
Benefits from it.
And so now it's just hyper now. It's like you're getting even more of this shit now. It's like, y'all get on my nerve. Y'all really, really do. Like, y'all sit here and act like these relationship experts, and, you know, y'all tell people what they want to hear, or y'all male bash because male bashing is in. And if you like, I'm the dude who's doing the male bashing, then I'm not like the rest. Man, shut your ass up. You are a clown, sir. Have several seats. Like,
but it also puts us in a place and space where we won't deal with our own insecurities.
mm-hmm.
Right? like you got that Sha, Derek Jacks, whatever the other dude, Kevin Samuels kind of guy that pops up, and he's able to sell you on this idea of what's wrong with the other party, or even what's wrong with you via the lens of the social normative of what's acceptable, right? And this experience is unique to you. It just isn't no other way to look at it. You know what I mean? What would be the value of being on the planet if everybody had the same intrinsic goal?
Right.
And that's how we think about life.
But that's how, right.
You know what I'm saying? And we got to stop doing that. But because we do think we all have the same intrinsic goals, we create one intrinsic standard. And usually that intrinsic standard is based on white capitalism and materialism. You know what I mean?
That's
and
real.
White male patriarchy.
That's real.
And that becomes the standard of value for everything else. You know what I mean? There's another video you sent me of Shahrazad Ali, and I wanted to get into that, but there's only 10 minutes left, and it's such an impactful conversation.
Yeah, we need to.
I don't want to.
Yeah, we need to dig into
play
that.
that, but she speaks to that.
Yeah, she does.
And that becomes the conversation because we all have this one like social standard. Think about it. There's colloquialisms where it's like picket fence, wife, house, 2 kids in the car. Like that becomes the standard of happiness in regards to like relating. And it's just not real. But it's also, when you think about that too, that's also the creation of an identity. You know what I mean? Of a lifestyle of value. And we let all these other outside sources create our understanding of our own identity and our own value set when the same people are creating these ideas for you don't live by them.
Right.
Like the motherfuckers who make laws don't follow them, y'all. Don't confuse yourselves. That's why they make them.
Right.
You know
so
what I'm saying?
you can
so
behave.
you can fucking follow them.
Okay.
Not for me to follow. I make the rules.
I make the rules.
You
here.
follow them.
I run shit here. You just live
Like
here.
a parent and a child.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Don't eat on the couch while your grown ass is eating on the couch.
Do as I say, not as I
Not
do.
as I do. You know what I mean? And we got to stop. We've adults, y'all. We got to start acting like it. You know what I mean? And I think that's I think that's what we had to come into the understanding. So when you see stuff like Derek Jacks getting caught out there cheating on his wife, I almost think that's the expectation. Right? Because you can't, the way the universe works, man, you're going to deal with your shit one way or the other.
Until you deal with it.
Until you deal with your shit. And anybody that's out here parading so heavily on one side of the spectrum usually is lying. You know what I mean?
That's real.
You see a dude male bashing, hating homosexuals, he's probably a homosexual. It's just, I hate to say that, but that's just real. Like, nobody's that far away on the spectrum. You got to find some kind of middle ground. There's some level of acceptance in all things and some level of rejection in all things. But once you find a motherfucker that's like all the way to one side of the spectrum, he's probably denying that part of himself. You know what I mean? So I don't know the full story of him getting caught cheating on his wife, but apparently there's videos attached to it. And I saw his earlier response. He's going hard now if he got another one already with his wife, because I saw one by itself.
So apparently they went live to do something. He needed her by his arm. So she, if she forgive me, y'all gotta forgive me. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Like, well, I don't care. I don't care what she talking about or what you talking about, fam. Like, it's just.
But in the earlier one that I saw by himself, he started to explaining, the difficulties of the introduction of how him and his wife's relationship started, and it wasn't on a solid foundation. But motherfucker, you on television every day talking about how men ain't shit because of the same shit that you're talking about. You involved in, right, and that's just.
It's disingenuous. It's whack as fuck, fam.
Man, it's some clown shit.
And the universe is gonna make you deal with your shit at all times. See? So you can sit here and cap every single day, and then the universe is gonna put that scenario right in your face, and you got to deal with it. But he'll find a way to duck it. But again, because of what people are tuned into and what they into, he'll be fine. The conversation will continue. The news cycle will change, and he'll be fine and back to talking all his bullshit. And then he'll just use this as a way to elevate his validity even more, right? I've been through it. I know what it is, that kind of shit. Right?
Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Right? The marriage manual. You know what I mean? After his third marriage.
Right.
Right? I perfected, that's his storyline. I perfected.
Act like a woman, think like a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but there is no such thing as a relationship expert, man. It's just, we all having different experiences. In the words of my father, there are as many realities as there are people.
That's a real spill.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real spill.
So every experience is going to be different, and unless you're being disingenuous and basing your social norm off the standards of the social standards,
right?
And that's usually going to bring problems.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to bring problems, but it's also going to bring followers. People are going to be interested in it and finding out everything you got to say about it because, you know, just what people be on.
Says the wife always knows, even when they don't say shit. Wives know. Oh, I appreciate those who don't say shit. So anyway, I just play. I say that out loud.
This bog is a fool. He interrupted her from cleaning the house while she listened to Anita Baker. Baby girl had on a whole bonnet. If you're embarrassing me, I'm going to be on the couch with my single and ready to mingle shirt on. Look at diva, glare to the world. I dig it. Hey, I saw a meme about Anita Baker, G. And I told her she was talking about, telling people not to listen to her music or whatever because she's trying to get her master's. It said somebody put up a meme and said, listen, man, can y'all please help Anita Baker get her master's back? I'm trying to clean up the house today, okay? Like, you got to put on your Anita Baker when you clean it up. That is clean up music. That was how we knew it was time to clean up in my house. You heard Anita Baker come on, it's time to clean up. That's just what it was.
So these people got details of his indiscretions.
What?
So they say dude brought another woman and her friends into their home. I didn't know that. Yeah, he was reckless.
Yeah, it sounds like he's married to a woman that is not into the lifestyle that he's into.
Yeah, TT says women love men who tell them what they want to hear instead of the truth. I'll never understand it. That's some real shit. And that's kind of the conversation, right?
It's the conversation all the time.
The right lie. And I'm telling you, I've been very successful with the right lie.
Listen, man.
You know what I mean?
People will prefer.
I had to grow up to stop telling the white lie.
People prefer a comfortable lie over an uncomfortable truth every day of the week.
Yeah, I'll tell you anything.
Yeah,
I was creative.
I used to be under that act.
Yeah, I think everybody starts off under that act.
Yeah, because it's the path of least resistance.
But for a woman, though, the very nature of woman, right? You have intuition, and you know better. But you want to hit a lie too. You know better.
You don't want to believe that your partner is smoking you. Nobody wants to believe that, and because you don't want to believe it, you will accept any halfway plausible excuse that's given to you.
And in my warped young man mind,
I had all the halfway plausible excuses.
Well, since you already knew better, it's your fault.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
For real.
That's really how I looked at it.
No, I feel you.
You knew how I was, cuz. Come on.
You understood. You understood. But what I've learned as I've gotten older is just to understand the value in fucking like saying who I am from jump. You know what I'm saying? Just like how I, as a person. You know what I mean? And because I don't have time. Like, it's hard to fucking lie and then remember what I told your ass yesterday and remember that shit next month. Like, I can't even keep all this shit in order. So I'll just tell you the truth. And then, we might have to have an uncomfortable conversation. We ultimately may decide to walk away from each other. But either way, I'm not finna be like, yo, I was over here. No, the fuck I wasn't over there. Like, I don't have time to figure that shit out either. I'm not finna play that game at all.
What is the truth when we're constantly evolving human beings?
That's the truth.
Because the truth would have seemed, in my mind, would seemingly change.
That is the truth. But you give your truth as it is, today. You give your current, present form truth. And like, yo, this is where I am in my journey. This is how I view relationships. This is how I view our particular relationship. This is how I'm in it right now. This is what I'm looking for it to be or not looking for it to be or whatever. And I think that, again, man, you'd be surprised what people will choose if you give them a choice. Because people put up with all kind of dumb shit anyway when you don't give them a choice. So if you give them a choice, you'd be surprised what people will choose, man. For real. Like, at this point, all I want is honesty. And you tell me your truth, and I'll decide like if I can be in on that. You know what I'm saying? And I probably can be. I can find my space in within whatever construct, pretty much.
I also think you part of a different generation, right? So different ideas, timing is different. Different ideas are starting to come to the forefront. But going back to that, again, social norm and social narrative, I don't think most people even relate to people. I think they are in relationship with the ideas. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're in a relationship with an idea, it becomes very stingent. You know what I'm saying? It becomes very stringent, and very stark and harsh. and defined, and we're evolving beings. So a defined idea never evolves like an evolving human being.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So where you are in the lexicon of this conversation, and where, you know, anybody younger than you come in the lexicon of this conversation, ideas are changing. Like traditional ideas are going out the window. Like we calling men, women out in public right now. You know what I mean? So certain ideas are going out the door. So you all are more fluid in that acceptance. But I think it's very interesting when I think of my generation and generations beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Like they really are engaged in relationship with ideas and not people.
Mm.
And that creates this idea of ownership.
So let me say truth in context.
It's supposed to be this way, and it ain't never supposed to be that way.
Nah, it's supposed to be what you make it. You find somebody that's just as batshit crazy as you are, figure if y'all can make this shit work. Can y'all be honest with each other? Can y'all figure out a relationship construct that works for y'all? Are y'all willing to be honest enough with each other to allow that other person to make their own decisions? Respect me enough to allow me to make my own decision. Don't make a fucking choice for me, right? And don't assume what choice I'll make. I might surprise the hell out of you with what I say. Like I might be with whatever you with, but give me a choice, because I can guarantee you what I'm not with is being tricked. Okay, I'm not with being lied to. I'm not with that. But give me a choice. I might be with a whole lot of shit. So y'all give it a try, man. See what your partners are actually with if you give them the choice. I'm not. Don't listen to me, y'all. Y'all finna fuck up y'all her relationships. I'm saying if you start a new one though.
Women got intuition. They already know what they partner with. You just got to decide if you wouldn't accept his truth. You already know what he's doing. Because most men are going to do it anyway. Whether they're telling you about it or not, eventually they're going to be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a partner to that, then you already know what he's doing.
I still think there's a healthier, less stressful
I'm not
way
saying
for
there's
that
not. I'm just saying you already know. So if you want to deal with the honesty construct, then you already know.
Sit them down one day, just cook up something real nice.
I know
like,
who the
listen,
fuck you are, fam. Let's discuss it.
I know you fuck. Most of the women that I know that are in relationships where they know they man is like fucking somebody else, they know exactly who. They know where she live at.
They know
where she work. They done ran down the whole shit.
And dude don't know none of that shit.
Don't even know. He still think he creepy getting away with it. Like
he don't know none of that shit about the woman.
She knows everything. Oh, right. You don't even know that about her. Do you know she got another? Like, yeah. Your wife telling you that your girlfriend cheating on you.
She do? She got a job.
Like, you thought you was the only one? Stupid? No, fool.
Oh, God.
But anyway, I digress. We got to get up out of here,
I wouldn't know nothing about that world. Anyway, it's time to go. 6 o'clock.
Yeah, man. Y'all kept me here 2.5 hours longer than I meant to be. I was trying to leave at 3:30. Y'all fucked up my day in the streets in the summertime shot. Ron, the sun still shining? Good, because I'm finna go.
Joe. I'm out there, Joe.
Man, thank y'all so much for tuning in to this Monday edition of I Say What I Said. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Thank y'all so much for all of y'all contribution to the conversation, whether you watched on Facebook or you watched on YouTube, or maybe you're checking us out later on this evening. We appreciate y'all so very, very much. Make sure y'all get up early with us tomorrow, 6 a.m. for the Maze Jackson Show. Stick around for the Book of Dawn. And then minding my own black business with Tennille Jackson. And hop on the green side of things with Sadiq and Cassie before me and two are back here same time, same place tomorrow. For Ron Rilla, Toussaint Werner, my name is Howard. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.
W.I.